Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so before we get started, this is Now for Life, or the Now Honors. You guys may have been wondering, what the heck are you guys doing? So for the first few minutes, we're going to talk with my business partners on my left and my right. And the other business partner had to go to work today, so she's watching from a distance. But we're going to talk with Alan and Ann for just a few minutes so you guys know what this whole Now Honors thing is all about, okay? Hey, Ann. Hey, Alan. What's happening?
Hey. Morning.
Morning.
Ooh. Now, Alan has, been a part of this business at a distance because he actually came and took the big little shoes of our business partner, Melissa Estrada, who we lost to breast cancer a couple of years ago. Alan is actually her brother. So he became the Estrada of the GEA Fun Group. And then we decided, a few years ago, Ann, you remember this, we started talking about doing an honors, doing an awards, doing a show. And it went back and forth and up and down. And what are we going to do? And it was going to be Vegas. It was going to be Entrepreneur. And then about a year plus ago, I said, we need to honor women. You remember that?
I sure do.
Woo, man. And then we never thought, when we started talking about this, we said, well, we could do it next year. And because COVID had hit, and we said, we could do it next year. Everything will be back open. I won't be in my wonderful little square box. And we could be on an actual stage because we're based, you and I are based here in Las Vegas.
Right.
So there's plenty of stages for us to be able to just go have a blast on. The only problem with that is a lot of those stages, have just opened. I mean, like half of them aren't even open yet,
That's
so
correct.
Yeah, I know, right? So then the three of us said, well, maybe we wait again. And then we thought, no, let's not wait. Let's just go ahead and do it virtually. And then hopefully next year or, 2035, we'll be able to do this on an actual live stage, right?
Right.
So here we go. We are doing today, right now, in 10 minutes or so, we're going to actually kick in to the first ever Now Honors. And if you guys don't know, Now stands for Network of Outstanding Women. We wanted to create a group, which we're working on, because again, everything's still closed. Create a group and also honor some amazing women. But before we get into all of that, because some of you may be logging on going, okay, it's called Now Honors, Network of Outstanding Women. But I'm looking at a guy. Yeah, Alan's going to be our honorary guy today. Hey, Alan! Alan is actually stepping in because usually I produce, direct, host, go get water, for my own show. And today I want to be able to just have fun and just enjoy this moment. So Alan is stepping in and taking over the production role. Thank you so much, Alan. And
You're
gonna
welcome.
be at the controls of this whole thing. So if you guys are watching right now, which I hope you are, make sure you give a shout out to our honorary guy in the room, Alan, sitting there, because he's gonna keep this thing rolling smooth as silk, I hope. Smooth as
I will
silk.
do my best.
Rhino Julie's out there. I know she is. Rhino Julie is coming up later on in the show. What up, Rhino Julie? What's going on? And then I see somebody else is out there. Victoria Winters says, what's going on? Hey, welcome to the show. So you guys want to know what this is about? Let's talk about it. Anne,
Yes.
you and I got started with Melissa in 1999.
Correct.
I realized the other day that people turning 21 this year were not even born in the 1900s. and I knew I was old. As soon as I said that, I'm like, okay, I'm old. 2, I realized that we have been doing this longer than these people that are becoming grown-up 21-year-olds graduating for college. Can you handle it?
Yeah, I have to. There's no choice.
Y'all have been putting up with me and my crazy ideas and the stuff I want to do. And people say, do I ever sleep and all of that? I sleep, sometimes sitting up, sometimes for an hour here and an hour there, but I sleep. And I wanted to just kind of share what all this has meant for us, because they get to see the final result, they being the people on the outside. Y'all put up with, and Alan's just starting to learn about this, y'all put up with the, hey, I got an idea call at almost any given hour of the day that usually contradicts the idea call I made the day before.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to navigate it and make it make sense for me, which not necessarily happened. But I'm really, really happy that it happened because of what's going on with the Now Honors. In the last year, I've met some amazing people that I would have never met if we weren't shut down by COVID. We originally started my show, Expert Talk with Tigo, in the studio, in our studio. And our plan was to just interview people whenever they came to town. And then everything shut down and nobody was coming to town. My mother used to say hell would freeze over before the strip would close. Yeah, well, nobody knew about COVID. And we started doing this from my wonderful little square. And now we've met amazing people from all over the world.
Absolutely.
And some great women that are coming up today. So what do you guys think about the Now Honors? What do you think about everything that we're doing? Talk to me.
I think it's awesome.
It has been a long time coming, but I think there's a maturity there that will enable us to make this a worldwide phenomenon, a movement. And we've only just begun. We just scratched the surface. And, sometimes I forget the exact vernacular of the saying, but, when the time's right, you will meet and be where you're supposed to be. So all this time has been learning and preparing to be that person that everybody gravitates towards. You've always been that kind of person, hence me and you being around almost 22 years together, that it's the kind of person that's just who you are, T. You're the kind of person. And now I think we've been out in the left field watching the ball game, and we decided to step up to the batter's plate. And by doing that, consequently, all those people that have been waiting for you are now finding you. And I mean, people are wanting to come to Vegas as soon as they can. And so, and how many people have you talked to? And in 10 minutes, they said, "Oh, you feel like my little sister. You're my new best friend." So the charisma has always been there. Now you're stepping up to the plate. And Alan and I are here to be your catcher and your pitcher.
That's it.
Now I just got to learn how to hit the ball.
Eyes
There's
on the
always that, eye on the ball, eye on the ball. I have to keep getting stronger glasses, so I might need a little help with that. I'm really excited about today, and towards the middle of this thing, we're honoring Lillian McMorris, and that's I brought Kleenex for, because already. Because this all started, and by this I mean production, all started because Lillian answered a phone call, almost 20 years ago. And I never thought she would actually answer the call. And she did. And it changed my life forever. We weren't even in production before that phone call. We were a tech company that we called Unity back then, and it was spelled really, really funny. And we were doing dial-ups and websites and all that kind of stuff. And then, I saw this woman and she answered the call. We're going to get into that later. I'm not going to tear up now because I'll be tearing the rest of the ding dang day. But I know it's time for something like this. Ann and I have been to events all over the place, all over the country, you might as well say. Thousands and thousands of people in the audience. And usually those events are all done by men. No offense, Alan, just, hang in there with us. We're going to beat you up a little bit. They're all done by men. And there's one or two women that come onto the stage and, they present, they teach, they instruct, they may win an award here or there. But for the most part, the big mega events are male driven. And Ann and I had this conversation and said, you know what? We want to have a legacy project. We want to have something that 100 years from now, people look back at and say, where did now come from? And in case you guys don't know what it stands for, Network of Outstanding Women. Where did now come from? Who started it? All that good stuff. And we're long gone. Because if I'm here at 157 years, no. Always long gone. And we wanted it to be on a mega stage. So that's the ultimate growth of what we're doing right now. We want, hopefully next year, we want this to be a 3-day, maybe even a 4-day event on a mega stage where we can all come together and network and get to know each other. And because Ann will tell you, Alan can tell you too, a lot of the great ideas that I come up with are truly great ideas. The only problem is I don't know who to talk to about them. I didn't have the network to connect to. With Network of Outstanding Women and the annual Now Honors, which will always be in Mother's Day month, the annual Now Honors, now people that are just starting their business will be able to come out and hang out with people that are been in business for 10, 20 years, that are multimillionaires, that own multiple businesses. You'll get a chance to interact with these people, ask them questions, maybe even stand on stage with them. It's an amazing day. I'm fired up. I'm a little bit nervous. I got a smoke detector. Now, anybody that know me, I can't stand no kind of noises, no clicking of the pens, drive me nuts, no tapping on the tables. Alan, don't do it. And behind me, you may not be able to hear it. I hope you can't. But about every 10 words, I hear, beep, beep. And I've spent the last hour and a half taking every smoke detector off, trying to find the bugger that has the bad battery, and I can't find it. So if you guys see me kind of go a little bit, it's because the smoke detector is back there going, But anyway, I digress. Alan,
Yes, sir.
this
Yes,
is your
ma'am.
first big production.
Yes, it is.
And you got thrown into the deep end. Oh, Rhino Julie says she can't hear it. Thank you, Rhino Julie. Whoo. You got thrown into the deep end of entrepreneurship because you really never really wanted to own your own business, correct?
No, I'm coming from 27 years of sitting in a cubicle in an engineering office. So this is all new to me. But I'm excited and I'm on board and we're getting ready to roll this train out the station.
Woo, I'm excited about it as well. We have lots of plans for Network of Outstanding Women. We're going to do events, big and small. We're going to have a community group where people can come and hang out. We're going to create, somebody just said maybe meditation would help. You know, probably, but considering I've had an hour and a half of sleep, if I meditate right now, yeah, y'all be doing this show by yourself because I'll be the one snoring on camera because I'm barely, look at my eyes. Okay. I'm barely awake as it is. So you don't want me to meditate right now. And trust me, I am a big advocate of meditation. It has definitely saved my life over the years and calmed my wiry butt down because I can be kind of, well, Ann can tell you, I'm a little intense sometimes. Hi, Ann.
You can be.
I can be. You know, Alan, I want to thank you for coming in, brother. You know, not just today, but coming in, period. Because when I first approached you and said, so do you want to come in and be the E of GEA and step into your little sister's shoes? You were like, huh?
Those are big shoes to fill.
Well, she had a size 6, I think, but that's okay. They're a big size 6. But you have been, every time we turn around, man, you've been stepping up. Here's a guy who's an engineer that, you know, built things out of cement. I mean, this guy, you know, most of the crazy parking lots in Las Vegas, I cuss his name when I go through them because I know he had something to do with it. And you came in, you're learning how to edit. You're learning all the production cues and terms. You're now running shows. We've even got my nephew, your son, is now editing. He's our editor for my show now. I mean, talk about a family thing. We're having a blast doing this. And I just want to take a second to say thank you, Alan. Not only are you the honorary guy of Network of Outstanding Women, but you're the kind of honorary guy of, you know, Melrose 11 LLC, which is our parent company. So thank you, brother, for stepping in and just flying, because it's like everything I throw at you, you've never heard of before, but it has not stopped you 1 second from trying to figure out how to do it. So thank you so much. And I'm going to give you a little applause.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm sure, you know, this won't be the last you'll see of me.
Yeah, no, because now that you know how to do this, man, I'm never doing it again. You can run every show. I'm gonna sleep in.
It is not over yet.
Not over till the fat lady sings.
Oh man, the law nerds are here already. The law nerds are coming in. Nice. You guys don't know, but oh my goodness, wait till Emily gets here. Welcome all the law nerds. I know you guys love your Emily, so do we. We are so excited for everybody that we're honoring today. We are, in case you don't know, we are honoring 6 women, 4 from the US, 2 from Canada, that are truly blazing unbelievable trails and helping the global community and helping, you know, small businesses, large businesses, people that don't even know they want to be in business. You know, they are helping everyone, you know, just get out there. We're honoring, we have a rising star. We have an influencer. We've got a trailblazer. You know, we've got a Shero. We've got a legend. And then we've got a woman of the year. That's what today is about. We've got two amazing guest speakers coming in. They're going to talk to us about, what's going on in the world, how to get past your fears, how to get unstuck, how to move forward. Yeah, today is going to be fantastic. It's a lot shorter than we originally had planned. We originally planned this to be right after Mother's Day and to be a 3-day kind of a workshop event. And I had a family emergency in my house, not COVID related, thank God, but a family emergency in my house. We ended up in the ER and then in the hospital. So that kind of changed the shift. And I was like, maybe we need to cancel this year. And Ann said, no. We've already gotten far enough down the road that we do not need to go backwards and cancel. So we decided to move it a couple of weeks later, wanted to keep it in Mother's Day month because it's all about honoring women, honoring moms, sisters, aunts, grandmothers. It's about honoring women, honoring the women like my mom, who was a labor worker. She worked in a sweatshop. Her first job was sewing the soles on Army soldiers' boots for World War II. My mother was born in 1920. And I want to honor all women, from my mom to the, young girls that are just starting to, sing in their brush and dream about being an entrepreneur or a nurse or a doctor or now president. That's what this is about. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this. I hope you're going to love it. I hope next year we can be on a major stage. And when we are, we can have you all come down to Vegas, come up and be on the stages with us, hang out with us for 3 or 4 days. That's where we're going with this. Ann and Alan are, sitting back there. I don't know where they went. Where'd you guys go? Get back up here. There they are.
Still
Be
here.
careful about that.
We're always watching.
You're always watching. Is there anything that I've left out? Is there anything that I'm missing before we get started? I see Joy is back there. So we're going to get started in just a minute. Is there anything I'm missing?
I don't think so. Just sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah. And is there anything you want to say before we get going?
Hang on to the shirt tails. Let's go.
Did she just say, hang on to the shirt tails? Let's go. All right, everybody. Here we go. We're going to mute Ann and we're going to mute Alan and take them out of the equation. And it's just me. They left me alone. Okay. Y'all really want to know what's going on? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We're going to get this party started. And there's no better way to get started than with our rising star. And I wanted to have someone who truly, as my phone goes nuts, you guys, I apologize. It's live TV, okay? As I truly, love who our rising star is. And I could have introduced her, I really could, but I wanted to have someone that truly knew our rising star at the core of it. And she recommended this wonderful lady named Joy. Hey, Joy, what's happening?
Hello, it's wonderful to be here and to meet you. Hello.
It is wonderful to meet you too. I know that, you're inspiring, you're mentoring. You are a powerful force in yourself. I wish I had the opportunity to meet you prior to the event, but it's been absolutely crazy. When we're the 3 of us plus G is our 4th business partner. We've been running around like crazy, just trying to get ready. Normally I would have, extended the virtual hand and reached out to you and just introduced myself. I know you feel like you have been thrown into the deep end. I want to apologize for that. But, our rising star, I'm going to let you say her name, but our rising star, has nothing but amazing things to say about you. I think that you are a force and fantastic, and I know you're changing the world along with our friend. And I want to personally thank you for, kind of just blindly walking into this craziness and going, what the heck is it now? And why am I going?
It was a lot of fun finding out, and she's worth it. She is worth it. So I know this is a fantastic thing that you're doing. Yeah. Thank you.
You know, how long have you known her? We're going to keep calling her for another minute. So how long have you known her?
I have known her for, I'm saying close to 4 years. You know, sometimes you meet people and it feels like 1,000, but I think that in actual years, it's been 4.
Wow. Okay. See, I've only known her for a year. You know, she reached out to me on a group that we're on Facebook. And she said, you know, I think I'll be a great guest for your show. And then she told me what she did, which I'm going to let you share that. She told me what she did. And I went, what the heck's the number 9 got to do with anything? Why are you talking to me? And I'm not talking to you, and I'm gone. And then my business partner, Ann, said, oh my goodness. Oh no, you need to interview her. That would be amazing. That would be awesome. Oh my God. And it was the best advice I ever had. You know, she has definitely changed my world. I literally call this woman, you know, via Facebook or text message or email before I make any big changes, including doing the Now Honors. I ran it past her. You know, she's amazing, and I'm watching her star just grow. So what I'm going to do right now is kind of pass the mic to you, Joy, and I'm going to let you introduce her. And she's our first ever rising star. Take it away, Joy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I want to just say a couple of things again before we get to her name, because I want to just build the anticipation a little bit, and she is absolutely worth it. When I met her at another event for women, and one of the things that stood out so much about her is her desire to support other women, not just women. She has a desire to support humanity, but her depth of love and devotion to bringing about change and to being a part of making this world just a bit better. Her devotion to that is unseen by anyone else that I know. So I really am excited about sharing more of her with the world. I'm excited to introduce you all to someone who not only have I gotten to know as a client, she's someone that I've supported over the years, but she has become a colleague. She is now in my business, helping me to run a very large coaching organization. So let me introduce the fabulous Cindy Van Arnam. Hello. She is, you know, it's interesting because labels just don't do it. But let's talk about wealth activation. Let's talk about quantum numerology. Let's talk about, you know, self-mastery. These are traits and labels and skills that you bring to the table, things that you work with other people with, that not only do you help people master these things and bring them into their life, you embody them unlike anyone else that I work with. And it is an absolute honor to be a part of presenting this Rising Star Award for you. You deserve it. You deserve this and so much more.
Oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you're here too. It's exciting because we get to geek out on all the things self-mastery and wealth activation and numerology and
Yeah. What does it feel like to know that you've created such impact in the world and that people are seeing that and they're like, yes, you've got to have her, bring her in?
It was really interesting this morning. I woke up and was almost feeling nervous and unsure about this, and talk about self-mastery, because I felt that awareness of like, something's not quite feeling right here. And so I've leaned into it, which is one of the things I've learned is when you see something that's triggering you emotionally, you lean right in. And so I was like, oh, I'm really curious about this. I wonder why. And I realized that it was my receiving muscle being stretched.
Ooh.
So it was good. It was good. And as soon as I recognized that, then I was able to just let go of that and step right in. So yeah.
I love that. So, you know, it's interesting. I was listening to, you know, as we were coming into this conversation, talking about how we're checking in with, you know, what's a number 9, right? I was like, right. So talk to us a little bit more about that, because, you know, we began our journey with self-mastery, right? The emotional mastery and building business and doing all of these things. But there was a conversation that you and I, we've had a few conversations over the years, but there was a conversation you and I had where I remember you surrendering to this devotion of, I want to be a part of this movement of numerology.
Yeah.
Do you remember surrendering to that and realizing the power and impact that could have?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I remember the exact conversation, but I do remember just seeing myself in the numbers. That was really the start of it. When you did your first reading with me, I was like, what? I'm doing all the things that are opposite of that. But it felt like such a remembering of who I was. And so in the leaning into that and discovering the truth of that, I was like, the whole world needs to know this. Yeah, and that moment of surrender of just, okay, we're a numerologist. We're doing this.
What do you love most about it? What do you love most about numerology?
Yeah, this is a conversation I've been having a lot lately. And the word that comes up the most is permission. It's like a permission slip to just fully lean into who you are and to trust that that's, you can own your weird and just be you. And what better gift to the world than to just be you?
Well, let's talk about that because, you and I are really passionate about this.
Yeah.
Obviously. But I really do see the work that you're doing in the world, the work that we're doing in the world has the opportunity to create a ripple effect through the hearts and minds of the entire world at this time. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And what do you see as the potential impact for numerology as it becomes more mainstream, as you continue to rise your star and share this? What's the potential impact, do you think?
Yeah, for me, especially working with entrepreneurs, business owners, especially in the online space, it's really easy to get caught up in comparisonitis and shiny object and looking outside of ourselves for the solutions to our perceived problems. And that was one of the things that I've learned in the last 4 years working with you is that none of my problems outside of myself actually exist outside of myself.
Right.
And so understanding that and having permission to just be who I am through that numerology has allowed me to go within to check before I ever look outside. And my expression, there is no mountain.
Right. I knew that was going to come up.
Of course. And yeah, that was probably one of my biggest growth pieces was because I'm a ruling number 4, looking to the physical realm for answers when all of the answers were inside of me. And so letting go of the control of the outside world and being able to come in gave me permission to step up. And in that, I can see how anybody and everybody who gets a numerology, who understands their numerology, can have permission to own their own weird.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because, I wrote down a few things that is like, what is it that I love the absolute most about Cindy Van Arnam in the world, and of course of you in my world. But devotion was the number 1, which really is a trait of your 4, of that ruling energy. You have the devotion, but you also have the openness of your contract, of your 5 energy, right? So you're bringing in all of these elements where you're not willing to let go of impact. You're not willing to walk away from that. Like I really feel that in you, but in that you're not rigid. You're not stuck in any one pattern that needs to unfold. You're open to whatever could occur.
Yeah, that was definitely something that was a learning curve for me because, I learned my ruling number first, right? And so I could see the control of the 4 and the feeling responsible for everyone and everything. And that was my life when I met you. And I was stressed out. And then seeing the 5 of diamonds come in and my contract, and I'm like, oh, I do get to think outside the box. I do get to be the rebel and do things differently and not play by the rules. And that just gave me full permission to just, let's do this thing of impact, but we can pivot all the time.
Oh my gosh. And so really owning that energy.
Yeah.
Everyone's their own rising star. Yes.
Yes. I'm just a mirror for that.
Right. And such a beautiful mirror, because that's the other piece is in that beautiful mirror. the other thing that, I said I had 3 things on the list. The third thing is you have this beautiful willingness, and which brings me back to the mountain, because I remember when you were so willing to see that you were putting things in the way of you releasing your magic into the world. And there was something that clicked in that moment, in that conversation of the mountain, when you discovered that you were in that place and you decided to let go of the mountain, and your willingness to see became your willingness to thrive and to love, which really, it was the moment that you shifted from, I'm willing to see all the crap and all the stuff that I've brought into the world that it hasn't been great, but now I'm willing to see my brilliance. I'm no longer willing to bypass that by creating a challenge.
Yeah.
And I think that for me was the moment where I saw the amplification of your impact. Like all of a sudden it was like, it feels like this unstoppable force.
It does.
I'm just so proud to know you. I can't be proud of you. You did it all, but I'm just so proud to know you and to be here with you in this moment.
I'm just so full of gratitude right now. I mean, this journey, I wouldn't have asked for any other journey. I'm just so grateful for all of it, and even the pieces of it that I didn't love in the beginning. And being in this place now of just absolute possibility of, even when I perceive a problem, I immediately go to what's possible here.
Yeah.
Instead of there's a mountain. Because there is no mountain.
Right. So what is possible? What would you tell all the other women, all the other rising stars who are tuning in? What would you tell them?
You are worthy.
Yeah.
You're worthy of anything that you want, and you deserve it.
You're worthy, and you are worth it. You are absolutely worth it. Yes. Oh, I love that. So maybe one more piece.
Okay.
How does wealth fit into all of that?
Wealth is everything. I am seriously passionate about seeing the redistribution of wealth on the planet and putting the money in the hands of people who care, because that's how we're going to change the world and make the world a better place. And I think wealth is something that's been hugely misunderstood, because we're always looking to the external world for it and chasing it, when wealth is what's built inside. And that shift for me this past fall was everything. I was living PayPal to PayPal, struggling, borrowing from the bank of mom. And now I can't even imagine what that feels like anymore. Yeah. And it all came from letting go of what's outside.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm deeply passionate about that with you and bringing that to the world. And so last question, is there any number? Is there any ruling number, contract, any life situation, any human that isn't capable of wealth? Is there any luckier number than another?
Out of 8 billion people on the planet, every single person in there is worthy and wealthy.
Oh, stop it. It's so good. I love that, because you and I share this message. You and I share this message of wealth is about well-being, being expanded into the world through the flow of divine financial expansion and all of the beautiful things that come from that. And no one has been stopped from that flow.
No, not at all. The only one that's stopping you is you. I know.
Yeah.
And once I learned that wealth was an inside job, things got easier.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Well, congratulations. I'm really excited for you. I'm excited about what expands from here.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited about the things we're building together, and it's gonna be so good.
Love you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm excited too, you guys. Don't leave me out. Come on, I want to play. I got to do this. Cindy knows how I am about my new toy. So I got a new toy just so I could applaud everybody. You love it? I love it. It's virtual. We got to do what we got to do. But Cindy, did you get the award? I mean, you're in Canada. Did it get there? Do you have? There it is, you guys. Hold on. Wait. We have to, hold on, I messed that up. There it is.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
There it is. And you know what? What else is really, really cool about that is that it also, you can use it as a dumbbell, because I've heard a couple of people say it's a little heavy.
It is quite heavy.
You know what I got to do? I mean, we can't do anything small, you know? And I ran that past Ann and Alan and G and said, this is what I wanted to do. They were like, you know, it's a virtual event. Can't we like send them a virtual certificate? And I'm like, no, we want something that they could go, you know? I mean, that's ever since we were little kids. You know, kindergarten, they do it a lot more now than when I was in kindergarten, but little kids, you get the little award and it makes you feel like you're a part of it, you know? And I want all of you ladies today to feel like you're a part of it, and that we couldn't do this without you, because we couldn't do this without you. You know, I might go off and talk to myself every once in a while, but I don't think these wonderful, you know, comments that are coming by, you know, we're getting woohoo, congratulations. You know, wow, what an amazing award. You know, even they love the applause effect. What? Come on now. You know, it's like we're getting all these great comments, and it has to be something that people can touch, feel, especially now with COVID and everything else. We can't do everything virtually, even though you two ladies are pretty much masters at things that we cannot see, but we can feel. And maybe I have to admit the fact that, you know, I didn't know I was feeling it until I met Cindy. I'm just saying, I didn't know what that was back there. And she sat down with me and said, it's this, 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 and that. And I went, holy crapper, she's right. And we have been hanging out ever since. And it's not an accident that you're our rising star. It really isn't. You know, when you and I met just about a year ago to date almost, when you and I met a year ago and I went, you were what, you do who, and what's a nine? You took time and explained it to me. And I'm sure in the profession that you're both in, you have a lot of people that you just have to sit and explain what it is that, you know, this is all about. And that it's not just words for the sake of words. And I appreciate you, because I'm going to tell you, Now Honors, you know, would not be happening. Now for Life would not be happening if I had not met Cindy, if I had not met the other women that are on today. You know, it wouldn't be happening, because what makes it great is, yeah, the award is cool. You know, it's heavy. It's a blunt object. I'm just saying. It is, you know, don't beat, you know, the utility man or something with it. But it also is a symbol of the flame, you know, and I had that conversation with Cindy. You know, I said, I'm working on this award and I want it to be powerful. And I'm thinking we should get it hand blown in glass, which we did. And I said, and she said, that's, you know, you need to have a flame. You need to have some kind of fire in it. And yeah, and that's exactly what we did. And it's all because of together we stand, you know, divided, we're not going to fall, because we're not going to let each other fall. And this is the first of what I hope will be many, 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 many things that we'll do in the Now community as we get this thing going and launched and all that other stuff. Now, other people may have started the Now community first and did honors 10 years from now. But I believe in the powerful blow, and I want to acknowledge the women that are changing my life and changing our lives, especially during COVID. You know, so we're starting with the award, and then we'll build the community after. You know, yeah, I do things behind. Yeah, you guys know how I am. But Joy, you're sitting there going, cuckoo. No, I'm kidding. I want to thank you for, you know, jumping in here and acknowledging, you know, the Now Society, our Now community, and stepping in to be the presenter. It just wouldn't have been the same without you. This is the best way to kick off our first ever, you know, Now Honors. And Cindy, you are the perfect person as our first rising star. I thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor, and I'm so grateful.
Thank you, guys. Woohoo! Well, I want to tell you that was fun. I can't tell you anything better than that. You know, Cindy is power. She is awesome. You know, she is that person that you go to and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this or that. And she comes back and says, what, are you crazy? No, she doesn't. She comes back and says, yeah, but think about it this way. She comes at it almost, in my mind, from an earth tone. All the other stars and glitter and just complete distraction that's out there. You know, they say we have the attention span that's less than a goldfish. And then you have somebody like Cindy who literally makes you get centered, that literally makes you sit and think before you step and react. I'm proud to call her my friend. I'm proud to have her be a part of the Now Honors. And I'm so excited and proud that she's our first rising star. And something tells me that she'll be back as the influencer one day, as the trailblazer, as the legend, and one day as the woman of the year, because nothing's stopping this woman. Nothing whatsoever. You know, I hope you guys are enjoying. I'm looking at all the law nerds go crazy out there. It says law nerd, law nerd, law nerd. You guys are going nuts, and I see it. You know, this is awesome. She's coming, y'all. She's coming. You know, I love the way people are feeling. It's like people are talking about it. Thank you, Gregory. You are the best. You know, we've got people that are just sharing the love. Look at all this love going by, you know, and then law nerds. You guys can feel it, huh? You know, she's getting close. The law nerds are coming. Woo! Just a few more minutes. Before you know it, Emily's going to be here. And y'all know what that means. Fun, excitement, joy. But first, before we get to Emily, I invited a very special person to be the presenter for Emily. Now, this special person is also one of my coaches. So, you know, I feel bad for her because she has to put up with my crazy brain too. But she's always right there. And she's always like, I am the queen of the internet. I believe what she says. I am the queen of the internet. What's up, NJ?
Hi, not the queen, the mayor.
The mayor. There it is. The mayor.
Mayor.
The mayor of the internet. You are awesome. Do you see? I wish you could see this. I mean, it's just law nerds. Law nerds. They're all purple because of the purple hair. You know, it's just law nerds everywhere you look.
Law nerds.
Law nerds. So let's talk about what you do, though. You're not just one of the moderators. You're not one of the people on the Emily Baker team. You're a coach. You're a mom. You know, let's talk about how you got into this crazy business called internet. What's going on with you? Talk to me, NJ.
Okay. Well, Ann says that she can't hear me. So hopefully, can everybody else hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Law nerds, can you
go into the chat and law nerds, can you hear NJ?
Can you hear me, law nerds?
So I see hello, NJ. Love ya.
Awesome.
I'm assuming they can hear you.
Awesome. So I just want to say hello to the law nerds. What the law nerds don't know is that I love you guys so much. I am on Emily's team. If you love the swag, the Law Nerd Shop, that is one of the roles that I get to play for Emily. And so I'm so glad to be here to get to introduce her today. Now, Tigo asked a little bit about what I do. In my 9 to 5, I work as a digital marketing coach for ClickFunnels. And then I am a wife, a mom, and the chief Emily officer. So part of my role is to
Did she just say the Chief Emily Officer?
When Emily comes on, she will tell you that is actually one of my titles is Chief Emily Officer. In fact, I was texting her an hour ago to say, hey, don't forget, it's in an hour, it's in an hour, it's in an hour. I'm the one that texts her and says, do the YouTube-y things. Don't forget to send the text to the community, right? Do the YouTube-y things. So that's me. That's what I do. Yes, CEO, Chief Emily Officer. You got it.
You know, all my life I've heard CEO. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 10. I had never heard it be called, you know, Chief Emily Officer. I guess I got it wrong. I'm super excited. I just saw her. Law nerds. I just saw Emily in the back in the virtual green room. Where does she go? She's got to come back. Where did she go? She'll come back. Law nerds, she is almost here. It is almost time. But before we do that, you know, can we talk about just a couple of minutes? Can we talk about, NJ, about people that are thinking about starting a business?
Sure.
Who have started a business but feel like they're lost and just totally confused? How important is coaching when you're in business?
I think that investing in coaching is one of the best things that you can do if you are in business. It is, you know, if I wanted to run a marathon, I wouldn't just wake up and be like, hardy har, I'm going to run a marathon. I would go and seek the expert advice. I would go and find the plans that somebody else has already laid out. I would go and figure out how to do it, right? Like, you don't bake a lasagna without knowing how to put things together. And it's the same with business. So I say, like, if you can invest in coaching, you are going to just go light rackets faster.
You know, the other thing, and one more question I got for you is because the other side of that, I've been in group sessions, I've been in group coaching sessions, and it just seems like there are some people like myself that don't know how to shut up. And then there are some people that really need the help, but seem to be like shy or afraid, and they're in the group, but they won't ask the question. So how important is it to engage in coaching and not just sit in the back seat and take the ride?
I think it's really, really, really important to show up to the things that you have financially committed to do. And if you have a great coach, they're going to figure out the best ways to motivate you and pull you forward. And so for me, I'm a student of whoever's right in front of me. That's something that I say every time before I get on a coaching call is like, I'm a student of Tigo. What does Tigo need from me? How can I help her do the things that she wants to do? And so sometimes I ask really, really, really hard questions. And a lot of times I pull out something in my coaching students that was there, but they just couldn't see.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to get out of the way. I want to thank you so much, Coach, because you're definitely one of my coaches. This wouldn't be happening without you. I actually ran it past you and said, I'm thinking of doing this. And you went, okay, what's the problem?
Emily's saying, Tigo, don't leave. Come say hi. So come on.
Emily's saying, don't leave. Don't come say hi. Okay. So Alan, can you bring, because the law nerds are going absolutely nuts. Can you bring Emily up on the stage for me, please? There she is, law nerds. There she is.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm blown away. I'm so happy to be here. And you are two of my favorite women. And I'm so happy to see you both. So that's why I was saying, Tigo, don't leave, because I love you and I appreciate you. And you are part of this journey too. NJ has known me since before I left the DA's office. And you and I had a chat when I was on your podcast, and you're like, put your podcast on YouTube, be on camera more. And you kind of co-signed everything that I was being told from, Warren from Octonation and others. And it helps having those voices behind the scenes saying, I believe in you. You can do this. Be on camera. You're not crazy. Do what you want to do. and get it. It helps having those voices cheering you on, because sometimes the voice in your head is not cheering you on. And seeing all the purple hearts in the chat are going to make me cry. Y'all are actually going to make me cry. So thank you, Law Nerds, for being here this morning. It's that you guys are blowing me away in the chat right now.
Yeah, the Lawners, I want to thank you so much, you know, and definitely, hey, my friend, you feel more like a sister than a friend.
Same.
You know, we've only known each other about a year. And yeah, that first interview we did, oh my God, talk about the nightmare on Elm Street of technology issue or tech issues I was having. You literally grabbed your coffee mug, as everybody knows, your tumbler, and you said, I'll be here. We'll just figure it out. And what should have been 20 minutes turned into like an hour and a half. But
if not two.
If not two. But I think it was perfect timing because it gave us a chance to get to know each other.
Yeah,
you know,
it did.
Instead of just, you know, sit in a chair, tell me what you do, get the heck out. You know, which is normally what happens when you're doing a talk show. But we got a chance to just share and talk and be friends. We got stuff that we're not even going to talk about today that we've got coming up. I remember you telling me that day that, you know, I'm going to go to a next level with my YouTube channels, with my podcast, with everything else, but I'm picking what camera to get or something like that. I was like, woman, if you don't get that face on a camera somewhere, ASAP.
Yeah.
But nobody, even I can dream in full color in 8K HD. And I didn't dream of you going from a little under 5,000 followers and supporters on YouTube, at Halloween last year?
At the end of October, we were just coming around to 5,000 subscribers. So October 2020, I was celebrating on a live stream. You guys were almost at 5,000. I had been on YouTube over 5 years at that point, and that number was so significant to me. I was like, I can't believe it. Things are growing. Some of my videos are gaining traction. And then November exploded, and today we're at 126,000 6 months later.
Okay, did you guys just hear what she just said? Wait, I got to do this. Y'all know I'm nerdy. I have to
because what? We're nerdy together. That's why that's one of the many reasons why we're friends.
Yeah, we are. We do the nerdy stuff. You know, I even drink more coffee, I think, because I hang out with her. You know, that is
the chat will tell you they do too.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. NJ, how are you keeping everything together with this woman at 126,000 people?
I know you asked NJ the question. You know that scene in Toy Story when they're both strapped to the actual rocket and Buzz and Woody they've ignited the actual real rocket and they're just like, ah! That's kind of what it's been like for me. NJ, is that what it's like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been like that. Like we have parachuted out of the airplane, and now let us build a parachute. Like we are falling out, and we are going, and we are not dying.
We haven't died yet.
We haven't died yet. but honestly, I'll tell you, it's Emily and I will be next to each other in a nursing home. It's like
making inappropriate jokes.
Yes.
By the way, we'll be texting each other eggplant emojis in the nursing home giggling.
Yes. and so I think that one of the things that's really important, like this is the influencer of the year. I think one thing that if I could tell any influencer who is up and coming is get yourself a ride or die who you trust and who is very trusted and whose voice really, really, really matters to you. Because once you have influence in any sort of way, everyone wants a piece of you. Everyone wants a piece of you. And so you really need somebody who is there to say, no, you're not doing that. And yeah, you don't want to do that.
And it's okay to not do that.
You don't want to do that, and it's okay to not want to do that. But I think you should do that. And so it's been a really fun ride for both of us. I think that we didn't wake up and say, hardy har, let's go viral, right? We didn't do that. And so it's been a lot of doubling back and a lot of like, there's still like so many things that we are working towards and building towards. And it's just so fun to get to do it with somebody that you love so much.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the thing that helped is that I did have an entrepreneurial business before this happened. So it wasn't as if I didn't have a business. My business has completely shifted, where income comes from shifted, but the putting money aside for taxes, doing things legit, knowing that you can't do everything alone, starting to know how to trust people and figuring out what pieces you need. We don't always do it perfectly because it is a different model for all of us, but we're doing it together and we're really open and honest with the law nerds. And we're like, oh yeah, this is a little late because I wasn't feeling well and I'm the one who does it. And they're like, we love you. It's fine. Like we're here for it. And we aren't, I don't know, we're not trying to be something that we're not. We are who we are. And we're really just open and upfront with that and what we love and what we share. And through this business, I followed my curiosity. And then we decided like, oh, this is the mission. Like, this is what the purpose of what we're doing is. And NJ and I were just talking about this again yesterday. Like, this is, the law nerds are bigger than me. I am blessed to be the voice and the purple hair on the screen, but the law nerds are bigger than me because I see them all over social media, bringing facts, being compassionate with each other, in my chat, supporting each other. Last night, when we were saying hello to everybody, and we took a minute to say hello, and the chat was coming in from South Africa, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, all over the UK, Ireland, people setting their alarms to get up at 3 a.m. internationally, not to just watch me. You can watch me on the replay, but to be in community live with the other law nerds. And that's why people are tuning in from all over the world. It's to hear what I'm saying, but it's also to be with each other. You can watch a video on demand on Netflix. The reason thousands of people are spending their Friday night with me live is because they also want to be with each other. And I will never, ever take that for granted. People cheering each on through the loss of parents during COVID, through the loss of spouses, through the loss of their paw nerds, through cancer treatments. The stories that people have shared of going back to school, switching career paths to advocate for what they're passionate about has just absolutely blown me away and continues to humble me. And then even the silly things where people are like, I think we've sold out the pumpkin cream cold brew at my Starbucks because we have so many law nerds in the area and you've been talking about it on Instagram and we love it. So it goes from really deeply serious stuff to just fun stuff that connects us all. And it blows me away. So I had a difficult relationship with the word influencer because when I was in the more entrepreneurial space, to me, influencer was somebody like hawking flat tummy tea and forgetting to say that it was an ad on Instagram. Let's just be honest and call it what it is. Tigo, you know that's what it is. You know that's what it is.
To go there. Oh my goodness.
That's where a lot of entrepreneurs' minds go when we talk about influencer. But what I'm realizing is that it's the influence is the inspiration. As a DA, I took pride in speaking for those that couldn't come into court and speak for themselves. I became a district attorney to speak for victims after personal experiences I had had. And now with the law nerds, I am not speaking for them. I am speaking so that they can speak for themselves and helping us all find our authentic voices together so that people can make change. And it's just blown me away. And that's why I talk about being dyslexic. It's why I talk about being ADHD. So people know that no matter where this world finds you, you can use your voice and keep going for the things that you care about. So I've talked for way too long, as I always do. But anyway, we were talking about mission yesterday. That's how I ended up on a rambling tangent. But I'm blown away by it, truly.
All right, so we're driving our producer crazy, I'm sure, because the timeline just went left. But before I get out of the way,
Emily.
I know NJ. I know NJ's got a couple of things she wants to say and introduce you as well. We're gonna let her do that. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I was up at 2:30 this morning. We won't talk about it. Watching the replay of your show yesterday, we won't talk about it. And towards the end of it, I saw you sneak something, the tip of something, into the frame. It was just the tip. It was just
Emily, we talked about this.
It was just the tip. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna get out of the way and I'm gonna let NJ do her magic.
I will certainly do my magic, but I also am a big fan of timeline, so I am happy to adhere to what the timeline is.
That's why NJ is my bouncer.
I am your bouncer.
I don't adhere to timelines at all.
It feels weird to introduce you, but I will go ahead and do this. This, my friends, is a woman. If I could sum up who Emily D. Baker is in a handful of words, I could write essays and books and novels about her. But if I was going to sum up who she is at her core, she is a wife, a mom, a mother, somebody who has fought really, really, really hard for her accomplishments and her successes. She is someone who is an overcomer and who works really hard to grow through the things that she is growing through. Emily's heart beats for the underdog a lot of times, for the person who is not getting the justice that they deserve, and who is committed to using her gifts to help all of humanity be better. So welcome, Emily D. Baker.
I don't know what to say. I'm thank you. I mean, when I did my TED Talk and had to pick 3 words, I was trying to find the 3 words that kind of encapsulated who I wanted to show up as. And for me, after years at the DA's office, I had not been as bold and as colorful, clearly as colorful as we are now, but I had kind of started to live more in the gray and played it very safe and put myself in my little lawyer box. And so shiny, sparkly, badass is what came to me, as trying to embrace who I am. And in the years since that TED Talk, I have really embraced being a shiny, sparkly badass, and the Law Nerds have helped me continue to embrace that and continue to grow what that is. And for our community, the words for me are shiny, sparkly, badass, but the words for our community, and NJ and I were just talking about this yesterday, are really to understand, evaluate, and change. And that's really what our mission has become, to bring the understanding of what's going on in the world around us, particularly with regard to the laws that can be so complex, to evaluate what that means for us, what that means for society, what that means for people who aren't us, being able to evaluate, hey, how do I see this? But hey, how might somebody other than me see this? How might someone different from me see this? How might someone with a different experience see this? And then decide the change that's needed in the world. So I'm blown away. Like, I'm blown away by the Tigo. Can we share that? Can I show this now? Can I show? Can I share? Are we allowed to do the thing?
Oh, we can't hear her.
Oh,
she's on mute.
She muted.
I said, of course you could. I'm nervous here, you know. Of course you can do this.
I'm with the badass ladies who inspire me so much, and I'm all geeked about it. But
I know, it's like,
we all have so much fun together. This is so beautiful. I
gotta go to full screen just so we can show it a little more. Look at that.
I am blown away by this. It's incredible. It's incredibly heavy. It is gorgeous. I can't wait to find it a spot, probably up here with the play button and my badge, and share this. Tigo has created this network of outstanding women. And I think women don't celebrate their accomplishments as much. They put their head down and keep going and saying, no, there's more to be done. There's more to be done. There's more to be done. And we don't always stop along the way to say, but look at how much we've already done. Yes, there's more to be done, but yes, we've already done so much. And I love that you're celebrating this across different categories with women and bringing them together to continue to celebrate. Look at how much we've done, and this is where we want to continue to go. And that is incredibly special to me, to take a moment and celebrate, because it's one of the things I have not done much in the last 6 months, because there's still so much to be done and there's still so much to go. But oh my God, we've accomplished so much this year. And so I am very proud to be the first influencer of the year. So,
yes. And it hasn't even been a full year yet. Like,
no.
I
have to have my nerd moment. Sorry, NJ. Sorry,
I love your nerd moment. The crowd goes wild.
It hasn't even been a full year yet. So let's talk about this a little bit, Because in the midst of this, if we rewind the clock a year ago, you were living somewhere else. You were making big, bold decisions. And so why don't you just walk us through a little bit about where Emily was last May?
May 2020. I was still trying to figure out what distance learning meant in May 2020. I was still living in Los Angeles. When Los Angeles shut down because of COVID, my family had to make some very big and difficult decisions because my husband had a newer business, a physical newer business that was very deeply impacted by COVID. And we were facing the very real decision of either we take every dime that we have anywhere and try to keep this business afloat into the unknown with how long COVID might keep it closed for, which in hindsight was over 9 months. It would have been at least closed. And then, or do we close this newer business, try to get out of a 10-year commercial lease, and decide what comes next for us? And we decided to close a business, sell a home, and move away from where my husband and I both grew up, where my parents and brother still live, and move across the country to a home that we had never seen in person, wasn't even built yet, and we bought over FaceTime. So we absolutely upended our lives with 2 young kids. My kids are 9 and 13. We were moving in the middle of junior high, which is a big concern for me because I went to the same schools with the same people since I was in kindergarten. So it was a big change, but it has been a tremendous blessing for my family. We moved to Middle Tennessee outside of Nashville. It has allowed me to grow as a person and allowed me the space to create what we've created here. But yeah, in May, we were figuring out how to sell a home. We were dealing in California and other places with the beginning of civil unrest and trying to sell and move during a pandemic. Finding movers was hard. Finding places to stay on the journey across the country when we drove was hard. And we just linked arms as a family and we're like, okay, this is going to be hard and we're going to do it. And we did. And moved into our home in August. We moved into our home 4 days before school started in our county and just kept going from there. I hooked up my computer, got a new camera, and was like, you know what? We're gonna start doing more on YouTube, because at that point I was shifting my business. I didn't feel right going to entrepreneurs who were trying to figure out how to stay afloat, being like, hey, do we want to keep going with this work? Everything paused. And I felt right pausing my consulting work too, because everyone needed to stabilize and protect their families and their business and their energy, because all of us were dealing with so much unrest in our own homes and lives and our country, really.
Yeah. And so one of the things that I admire about you, Emily, is because for those of you that don't know, Emily and I have known each other for several years. And so we have talked about this idea of moving for several years. And one of the things that I think changed in you in 2020 was you found your courage to step into a new space. And so for those are the people out here right now who are stepping into a new space, do you have any words of wisdom that you can impart upon them about what it is like to go into the unknown, not knowing what the outcome is going to be?
I think that you have to trust your ability to figure it out. It might not go exactly the way you want it to go. And this is something that's hard for me, stepping into something without a plan. And this is in my TED Talk too, when I went to high school, I had a plan. When I went to college, I had a plan, and things in my life upset that plan. When my husband and I got married, we had a 5-year plan. We literally, and we've mapped our lives that way. We threw out the plan and we're like, we're just taking the next right step. And then we will keep taking the next right step. And we trust ourselves and each other to make the next best right decision. Know that it's going to be uncomfortable, but that you can figure it out. It might not be perfect, but you can figure it out. If you keep taking steps towards what you want, you will get there. It might not be the path that you expected, but you will get to where you need to be in unexpected ways. I couldn't have planned what has happened in the last 6 months. I just kept taking the next right step for me.
Yeah, I think that is such great advice. And that is the honest truth about Emily's YouTube and influencer success, is that she and I have had a lot of conversations about what is the next step? What do we cover? What don't we cover? What is our lane, what isn't our lane. And so I think it's really, really important for anyone who is getting ready to make a courageous step to follow. I think the words I would say is like the breadcrumbs of curiosity, and just follow it. And one leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And if you go to a dead end, then you just go back a little bit and find the next breadcrumb and go there. So, so it's been so cool to see that for you. I know that I think we're coming up on time. Tico will tell me in the chat.
Tico will tell us.
Yeah, you're coming up on time, and you know, our first presenter, our first speaker is sitting in the virtual green room. But you know, I had to, you know, just let you guys have a couple of extra minutes and just talk, because one, the law nerds are going absolutely nuts. And as you guys know, I'm also a law nerd. I'm a member. I sit there and I watch. I wanted to hurt her when she showed the tip of the award yesterday, but that's okay. You know, I know
they all came because they wanted to see the rest of it.
Yeah, but you know, you have to share with the community. I know you. You don't keep secrets from the law nerds. I was surprised you made it that long. I thought you would have showed it to them. You know, when it came in the mail, it would have been an opening segment or something.
We keep secrets. Just so we're clear.
You asked. We are able to respect what we are asked to do. As long as we get to share at some point, we can hold it in.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you both. NJ, you know, you're one of my coaches. I think you're amazing as the mayor of the internet. And you know, you never have to worry about being reelected, because nobody's dumb enough to go up against you in an election.
Well, it's thank you for having me. This is so fun, because it's so fun to see all of the law nerds and all of the community that I get to help support behind the scenes. It's so fun to get to like say, hi, we love you.
Yep, they get to put a face to the name, and I love getting to share my community with those that I love too. And you guys, I love Tico. Make sure you absolutely remember to subscribe and go check out our episode together where we sat down for expert talk months and months and months ago, because bringing people together to share their stories is one of the ways that we create change. And it's such a powerful thing. So thank you for being here and showing me the support. Thank you for showing Tico the support. Thank you for always being gracious with NJ. She is one of my OG ride or dies. We met before I left the DA's office. I was still a deputy district attorney when we met. Yeah.
Okay, before I let you get out of here, you know, everybody that is not a law nerd is probably going, what's all the Purple Hearts about? What's going on with the Purple Hearts? Can you just quickly share, why is everybody sharing Purple Hearts, and why is your hair purple?
My hair is purple because we were joking in the chat, gosh, probably around 10,000 subscribers. What are we going to do when we hit 100,000? In November 2020, my channel grew by 55,000 subscribers. So watching it grow became a group event. And as we got closer to 100,000, it went skyrocketing past 100,000. And we joke about being the purple people in our chat. We are mostly politically somewhere in the middle too. And we do talk about some political topics, mostly pop culture, but we have a lot of love for each other no matter where they are. And purple's kind of become that middle ground for all of us, where we love each other, we respect each other, we have differences of opinion respectfully. And so when I was joking about dyeing the hair purple at 100,000, others joined me. I've had the greatest pictures on Instagram and Twitter of law nerds dyeing their hair purple, law nerds dyeing their hair rainbow, and really embracing the sparkly, shiny badassery of just being you. And there is no bolder statement really than walking around with brightly colored hair. And then we started sharing Purple Hearts on Twitter and on the chat. And it's just a way to show your law nerd pride. Like, I'm here for it. I'm here for facts. I'm here to embrace each other. I'm here to understand and to evaluate and to change. And that's what we're doing together. So that's why the Purple Hearts, that's why the purple hair. The hair is going to continue to evolve. I've been told we're doing galaxy hair and oil slick hair and rainbow hair. The hair is planned out through like 500,000 subscribers at this point.
Okay, well, as you can see, I'm doing silver hair. Anyway, I want to thank you both so much for coming and hanging out with us. I want to thank you so much, Emily, for agreeing to be our first ever Now influencer in this wonderful, Now community. And I know that you and we're just getting this journey going. And luckily we've got NJ, you know, in the cockpit next to Ann, steering the ships down the sea. So yeah, thank you. Applause again.
Thank you, everybody.
And you are the best. Thank you so much. All right. Our first speaker has been waiting in the wings. She's sitting there. She's a good friend of mine. I met her in the last year. You know, COVID brought a lot of sadness, but it also brought a little bit of joy for me because it gave me the opportunity to connect with these amazing people. And today, these amazing women over the last year, you know, it's so much fun. And coming up right now is this woman, Cinnamon, with the best name ever. Cinnamon Alvarez has the absolute best name ever. Every time, hey, I gotta give you a little applause. Every time I call, every time you're another person that puts up with my kooky ideas, every time I call, every time I send a message and I say, hey, Cinnamon, I'm thinking, you go, I'm in. Sometimes you haven't even heard what I'm thinking yet. You just say, I'm in, you know, and it's not like you're sitting around, you know, watching TV all day. I mean, you run A19, you know, you're an award-winning author. You've owned like 26,000 businesses that were all successful. You know, you have as many creative ideas as I do, but you take time out for me and for everything that we do here at Melrose. And I just wanted to take a second to say thank you and welcome you to the show. I'm so happy that you're our, you know, one of our guest speakers. You are fantastic.
Thank you, Tigo. You know, the reason that I say yes to you is because you're a doer. You know, we're not honoring you, but yeah, I want to be where you are. It's not that I'm the secret spice. You're the secret spice. Well, we are together the secret spice. So thank you for the acknowledgement, but I just want to turn it back to you for a second.
You know, that there were Spice Girls. Can we create a group called the Secret Spice Girls? Will we get sued? We should have asked Emily that. She's our law advisor. Yeah.
We could trademark that. Actually, that's funny. I do have a YouTube channel, and it's my new Clubhouse, what do you call it? Handle is Secret Spice. A friend of mine, Dominic, gave me that. Cinnamon, the Secret Spice. And so you want me to go ahead and take it away?
Yeah, I'm going to let you take it away in just a second. But, you know, just give people a little bit, just in case they haven't seen the other interviews that you came on, you know, give them a little bit about what is A19?
What I'm doing.
Yeah, what is A19? What is your book? Where do they find you? And then you can take it away and then I'll come and bug you after.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, so yes, Cinnamon is my real name. It's not a stage name that I just do to perform. So my mom gets the credit for that. But A19 behind me, I actually came to the office today so that I would have a good connection for this. But by day, I am a lighting fixture manufacturer. And I am interested in multiple things. So I'm also the author of the book, Generating Your Own Happiness, which actually came about after I sold a fitness franchise that I owned and an art gallery at the same time. So for 3 years, I had 3 businesses simultaneously. And what I'm here to do today, though, is my passion really is to have people have a rewarding and fulfilled life. So not just accomplishment, but like overall, like love life. And so I'm going to present for you how to get unstuck. And so what I'm going to invite you, though, I don't want to just speak and talk at you. I want to invite you to participate and play with me. One of the things I use is my little jargon is let's play. So I invite you, if you don't already have pencil and paper, get that and bring it back, because not only am I going to show you how to, but I'm going to walk you through the process. And we're busy people. I believe in having tangible results in everything that I do, which is why I said I like to play with Tigo, because she is making it happen. She always likes to acknowledge trailblazers, but she's the mega trailblazer. So we're going to trailblaze in less than 20 minutes how to get unstuck. So hopefully, even though this is so inspiring, hopefully you have an area of your life where things aren't necessarily going the way that you want them to go. I know for me, even today, I got a little stressed thinking, oh no, I'm not prepared, which is really more mental than anything else, but it can take us out of our game. So maybe you have goals and a long to-do list and they're not all getting done, and that's stressful for you. Or maybe you're discouraged and don't know what to do about a specific circumstance in your life right now. Or maybe you're dwelling over something. You have a problem and you don't have a solution and it's keeping you up at night. Or maybe you don't know what to do and you're just feeling powerless. So I want you to, even though you're here to get inspired, I want you to bring that forward. And what we're going to do together is we're going to use scientifically proven processes to get unstuck, but maybe in a slightly unique way, in a process that I actually have adapted over years. And I found to be, this is what my own personal practice that I use. And it's an adaptation from a course that I took years ago by Landmark Worldwide called the Wisdom Course. And they do a collaging process. And so I use some of that language in this process that I'm going to guide you through. So we're not going to collage and make artwork together today. Although if you want to take that on afterwards, there's a break after this and you can do that. Also, just be prepared. Everything that I do, I like to end with a cinnamon challenge where you actually create momentum in your life. So that is going to be our end goal result. So here we go. So the process of how to get unstuck, like the things that really work, is one, to let go, right? So we're actually going to dump it together. To change your perspective, which I am going to use a process called a mental renovation. To identify passion, which is often, not just when we're stuck, but lacking. And we turn to all different other things. So I want to talk a little bit about what we do usually instead of getting unstuck. We're going to see opportunity, right? The opposite of stuck is possibility. And we're going to believe in ourselves. So even though circumstances are, we accept and love ourselves. So I'm going to invite you to put that hat on right now. And we're going to create some positive momentum, and we're going to utilize the inspiration we do, and we're going to make stuff happen starting right now. So while it may seem counterintuitive, there is a problem that I identify with most people. The pain of being stuck and all of the negative emotion and self-talk and inner critic that goes on, the blaming, feeling powerless, it's so unpleasant that the number one thing that most people do is they rush to fix it right away. So you might be saying, yes, I'm stuck in an area, help me get unstuck. But while it might seem counterintuitive, I actually invite you to pause for a minute, take a deep breath, and don't just go into action and not address it. In fact, what I want you to look at is that there is the possibility that there is a bucket of gold underneath, right? A pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So the only reason that we get upset in any way is because there is something that we deeply care about. And people spend a lot of time, energy, money, books, in self-help industries, happiness, that's my topic of expertise, because they're really looking for meaning and purpose. And we wouldn't have a negative reaction to anything if we didn't care. So that's the number one thing that I want you to take away, is the next time that you feel upset in any way, I want you to think of it as an indicator. There's something I deeply care about that's important here. Instead, what we tend to do is to distract ourselves from that pain, and we seek out what I call pleasures and comforts. And so even myself, I'm very human. I get upset all day, every day. Not all day, every day. That's not true. Most people think I'm happy, but pretty much every day I'll have some point in time where I get a little discouraged. And I have a little drawer. I'm not advising this, by the way. I'm just confessing to you. I have a drawer next to my desk that has gum and like some nuts or something. So I don't know about you, but one of my natural like coping mechanisms is to put something in my mouth. So I'm going to introduce you to a character through this process also, so you can see some things to ourselves. And I'm going to call her Sally. But Sally, right? That means all of us. She tends to do things to soothe her pain and make the pain go away, and what she thinks might be artificial happiness, like soothing. So she might think, oh, I need a vacation, I'm going to travel, or she might go shopping, or she might eat, or she might binge watch. I know none of you have binge watched any episodes. Or she might have so much to do and think she doesn't have enough time, but she spends, an hour on social media and then makes herself wrong. So what that is just to recognize that we tend to want to numb instead of, in fact, I heard already, instead of leaning in, right? So I invite you to see anything that is a negative emotion as an invitation to identify. Be like, ooh, get excited. Put your detective hat on and be like, wow, that means there's something that's important to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be upset right now. Super cool. So those are already some takeaways. So we're going to do a practice together right now, which is going to be letting go, changing our perspective, identifying our passion, seeing opportunity. I'm going to interrupt you to believe in ourselves, and we're going to create some positive momentum. So hopefully you have an area of your life that's not going well, and I'm going to start explaining a real life scenario from a friend, Sally, that just happened recently, so you can start to see yourself. So on the top of, we're going to dump it. I'm going to give you an opportunity to complain, a little bitch session, right? I try to use good language when I'm being recorded, but that's really what it is. But we're going to do it for good, because complaining, and you're going to do this for yourself. Hopefully don't take this home to your significant other, because they don't want it, but we want it right now. But what I want you to do on the top of your paper first is I want you to write, it seems like. And this is the part where we're going to start to change the perspective so that it doesn't feel like we're so stuck and it's not so concrete. We're going to start to transition that and invent a possibility that maybe it's not so real. And it's okay if it seems very, very real. Circumstances are very real. We just want to introduce this possibility for something to change by saying it seems like. So Sally is having some marital problems. She's having stress in her career right now. She has her significant other who is unemployed, and it's tough for her. So she is saying, and I'm inviting you to be doing this for yourself right now. So you're saying, it seems like my life sucks. So Sally is saying, it seems like life is stressful. It seems like I should be looking for a job. It seems like my husband is always discouraged, negative. It seems like we don't want to spend any time together. It seems like he's wasting his days away. And notice it's very natural. Go ahead if you want to blame other people, because this is just for you to dump it. What we want is we want to get it out of your head onto paper in front of you, because if you leave it in your head, it's going to take you out of the game. So Sally is also saying, it seems like I have to do everything by myself. It seems like he's not willing to change. It seems like I thought we were in good financial position, but now we're spending money and it's not a good situation. It seems like there's nothing I can do, right? And so what I want you to notice in this process when you're doing this exercise is some of the language that's coming up that's disempowering. We might be saying they, Like these are not circumstances that I have any control over. It's because of what they're doing or what's happening to me. We might have extreme language like always, never, like Sally is saying he's always listening to podcasts and he's always getting negative information off of Twitter. Right? We might use words like need or because or I have to. And what happens there is that's creating the sense of stuckness. And if you use it seems like, hopefully you can see that it's not always, right? We can, and I don't want you to really, you might be saying, but it is true. At least just recognize that some of the stuckness is because in our head, we're using words that's creating this sense of permanence for us. And so you are going to exhaust this list. And I'm not going to give you dead silence right now, but you can continue on. Hopefully you have a few things that already happening. Dump it, exhaustive list, both sides of the paper, on and on and on, as much as you can until you can't come up with anything anymore. So remember, we're getting it out of our head, we're getting it onto paper. And then I want to ask you, we're going to create some possibility here. I want to ask you, what do you really want? Ask yourself, what do I want? Which one of those things that you dumped down, like, seem the most significant? Where do they pull at your heartstrings the most? Because that's where there's a commitment that you have. So like for Sally, what she really, really wants is she wants a loving relationship and she wants a partnership. And she wants someone to have her back and she wants to feel like she has someone that she can turn to. And she wants a partner that's happy. So you can see now, here's the passion. So what do you want? Excellent. So that's the lean in part. That's why I say don't just go to eat a platter of cheese. That's my favorite. I use that example. An entire bottle of wine. We've done that, right? Why do we have an opioid epidemic? Sleepy aids. Instead, what do you really want? So we've already started to dump it down. It seems like hopefully it's not feeling as permanent. We're identifying some passion and now some opportunity. So if Sally really wants a loving relationship, what could? So now I'm inviting you to brainstorm. What could you do that could generate that loving relationship? Now, what caught me really off guard is I had this conversation with Sally. That's her hypothetical name, just the other day. And what she came up with, we did this big data dump of all these things that we could do. And I said, okay, great. Now we're gonna create action. What are you going to do? And I was completely caught off guard because she said, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hire someone to install solar in my cabin. She has a separate location. And I was like, what? It caught me off guard, right? What happened is she went to, and I'm going to give this as an example in case you see this for yourself, is she went to believing everything that she dumped. It was still really concrete. And what she thought is, okay, I'm going to let go and I'm going to lower my expectations, which we hear that often. It's actually really great. And, but what she went to is, I'm going to do it myself. So she still believed in that she didn't have any ability to do anything about her marriage. So instead she shifted her focus, went shopping, said, I'm going to go shopping and I'm going to get something done because this is what gives her a sense of control. So what I did with Sally is we backed up a little bit. Wait, right? Could you see how doing that could be like rubbing salt into the wound? And so when you are identifying what you could do before you choose what you're really going to do, I want you to think about what's most important. So if you have children, for example, what do you want for them? Or if the last days were near, what would you do? And so what Sally and I came up with together is that if this was this was it, and their time was limited. What she would want most is to hold her husband's hand and look into his eyes and say, I love you. And that's it. And so then what she did is I challenged her. I gave her the cinnamon challenge. And the cinnamon challenge, by the way, it doesn't have to take a long time. So she stopped what she was doing. She picked up the phone, woke him up out of slumber because she was in a different location. And she said, I'm not there with you now, but I want to pretend like we're holding hands. And I just want to tell you, this is really important. I want you to know that I love you. And look at the impact. And so it can be, creating the momentum can be so simple to taking one positive, meaningful action. So the challenge is for you is, what could you do right now in our break that's coming up? And I challenge you to take that on. And that's how you get unstuck. If you want to, we're right up on our time. If you want to go through the process again, I'm going to walk you through it just for a quick review. But I do have this up on my website, generatingyourownhappiness.com. So what you want to do first is you want to pause and recognize there could be some value, right? And then you're going to write, it seems like, do an exhaustive list of all of the issues that you're having. You're going to look and see where you might be using some limiting language that's creating disempowerment. You're going to ask yourself, what do you really want? What do you really want? What's important? And then you're going to make a new declaration, and you can use the word actually. Actually, I see now what I'm really committed to is having relationships that are important, or I'm really committed to getting this business situation handled because I want to make a difference in the world. And then the biggest part of getting unstuck is to take action, any action. Ask yourself, what's one small, unintimidating thing that I can do this instant that may or may not create the long-term outcome, but that's going to create that momentum. And so tag, you're it. That's your challenge. And I hope you enjoy, and I hope you continue to use this over and over and over again, because I find that it's super valuable. You're so cute.
Y'all know better than to give me toys, man. I'll sit here and play with these toys all day long. You know, thank you so much. You got my brain just going and going and going. We had a couple of questions. Some people came in a few minutes ago. One person said, what's your website you just gave? What's your YouTube channel? They want to follow you on YouTube. So what is your YouTube channel?
Yep. So my YouTube channel, because I don't have a big enough follower to have my own URL yet. But if you search Cinnamon Alvarez Secret Spice.
Cinnamon Alvarez Secret Spice on YouTube. Then you're an author, you know.
I am.
What's your book again? Let's share your book.
Yep. So my book is called Generating Your Own Happiness, which is why the website generatingyourownhappiness.com.
And, you know, you're my friend. We met a year ago. I mentioned that a few minutes ago. But I invited you to be a guest speaker because you've been an entrepreneur for at least 5 minutes. How long have you been in business for yourself?
Well, more than 20, right? So one of the tips, and this is funny because I'm an employer, and I actually started not giving the number of years, because on your resume, you don't want to say, I graduated from high school in this year. It looks good if you have a decade of experience or 2 decades. So I have more than 2 decades of experience.
And what is A19 again? I know it's A19.com. What is A19 again?
A19.com will take you to my lighting manufacturing company. And the reason the company is called A19 is because I'm a total geek. And I thought it was interesting that people didn't know light bulbs are called A19s. And so long before LEDs or anything in the lighting industry, we had to put warning, risk of fire, use type A19. And nobody knew what that was as a consumer. And so I named my company A19. But we make ceramic lighting fixtures. We're a manufacturer.
I know that we covered this in another interview, but I just want to have you, kind of address it again. You are a female entrepreneur. You're blazing trails that some may not even think about, but you're in an industry with lighting fixtures that's not typically woman owned. What would you
manufacturing is fairly male dominant.
male dominant? What would you tell someone, a young female that's out there, or maybe someone like myself that, don't want to retire, we want to, inspire? It's like, what would you tell them if they're thinking about jumping into a male dominant business?
Oh, all the more fun, of course, right? Do it. I mean, who doesn't like their power tools? Construction industry, manufacturing industry, any industry. I think that we're feisty. That's not usually an issue, don't you think?
Yeah. I think that we take it on no matter what. I mean, I think that with COVID, we've definitely faced, all of us, male and female, young and old, have faced challenges we never thought we would face before. And we found new ways to tackle them. This particular show has been coming for years, and here we are doing it virtually. So yeah, I think you're right.
So what I do is I call it the game on mindset. So if I'm intimidated and I think, oh, it's a male dominant industry, I don't know if I have what it takes, I say game on. And yeah, statistically speaking, which I think is quickly going away. I just had a man tell me yesterday, I think, that women are taking over the world. And I think it's true, right? I volunteer. Oh, another place you can find me is SCORE. I volunteer in my local SCORE chapter, SCORE IE. So if you're in the startup stages, you can get pro bono mentors and workshops. I volunteer there. And the reason I mention that is I think there are more women than men currently right now starting businesses. So put your game on mindset on and do it anyway. Right? It's part of what I was talking about with getting upset or getting unstuck, like any upset. If you try to make the negative emotion go away, then you become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're nervous and fearful, that's excitement. Do it anyway. Don't get stuck in the trap of thinking you need to make the fear go away first.
You are amazing. Before I let you out of this hot seat, I know somebody out there, maybe one or two people may be going, what's SCORE? And are you talking about football? Can you share just for a minute what SCORE is?
Sure. And I could be mistaken because I wasn't prepared for this question. SCORE is an organization made up of volunteers, and it's national, and it's designed to help people in business. And so I think the original forming of SCORE was by SBA, when people took out loans to help people be successful so they could pay off their loans. So what you have is a lot of people, even from corporate America, who are retirees, who are experts in areas. You get people who have been in business like myself, and just through the goodness of our hearts, we're wanting more successful business owners. So we're giving it away. I volunteer there because I didn't know that it existed. I was in business at least 10 years before I knew SCORE existed. And I do believe I'm not saying that it's a substitute in any way for working with a coach, because I do believe in coaching. And I do believe in consulting in areas of expertise. But this is all pro bono, where people just volunteer, and you can get someone, like if you need help with leasing or any area, accounting questions, you can either get on a call quickly with a mentor, or you can catch one of our workshops.
We're getting some great comments out there. Just so you guys know, SCORE is a great resource. It's a free resource. You've got amazing people that have ran major companies, awesome entrepreneurs. So if you're thinking about it, the first time I went to a SCORE appointment was probably 20, 30 years ago. And I literally had my business idea written on a napkin. And I walked in there and said, this is what I'm thinking about doing. And I thought they would laugh me out the building. And they sat me down and said, this is what a business plan is. This is how you make your strategies. This is how you look at a budget. It was awesome to experience that. So if you have a SCORE chapter in your community and you're looking for connection, and a little bit of guidance, SCORE is a great way to go for it. Cinnamon, I want to thank you. Let's give them your websites, both websites again, and tell them how they can find you on YouTube one more time.
Yep. So my lighting company, A19, A19.com. My book, GeneratingYourOwnHappiness.com. Also, I do a little bit of coaching. Group coaching is an option also. And then last but not least, how to find me on YouTube is Cinnamon Alvarez, The Secret Spice, where I attempt to give away all of my secrets to success.
Cinnamon, you are the best. You're awesome. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being here. Wait, got to do it this way. Woo-hoo! My new toy. Thank you so much. You're the best.
Big love to everyone.
All right, so we're a couple of minutes behind. Our next honoree is right behind me. She's waiting in the virtual green room. But what we're going to do right now is take a quick break because honestly, you know me, I'm 100,000% transparent. I've got a 14-year-old puppy downstairs that's howling at the moon, which means she needs to get outside and we don't have a doggy door for her. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. And we are back. I hope you guys can hear me. Somebody give a shout out and tell me they can hear me. Rhino Julie's in the back room in the green screen. She's got her thumbs up. So that means, yep, we're in business. Hold on one second. Dim it down a little bit. Doom, doom, doom. Okay, we are back. I want to thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you're enjoying and having a blast with the Now Honors. This is our first ever Now Honors. And in case you didn't hear me this morning or you're just coming in, Now stands for Network of Outstanding Women. That's what it's all about, you know, Network of Outstanding Women. And this morning, we've already shown you amazing women with amazing communities. Did you guys see the Law Nerds show up with all the purple and everything? Oh my gosh. And then Cindy, rising star. There's no other way to put it. She is absolutely a rising star. You guys watch out for Cindy. She's going to be around. She's going to be out there doing her thing. You have no idea. And then Cinnamon, with the coolest name on the planet, Cinnamon, you know, she's talking about spice, and truly she is spicy. She is honest. She tells you how it is. And she came in here with a challenge, basically, that got my brain thinking. And maybe there's a little announcement we can do a little bit later, because I'm really thinking about doing something cool, moving something up in the timeline. I know the business partners are right there going, what is she doing? But before I do all that, let's get back to where we are right now. Right now, in this moment, I get to be the presenter because she's a good friend. I met her in the last year as well. You know, she's right here in Las Vegas. She owns a little company called, you know, the Rhino Gems. And they may be tiny. I think they're like the smallest one is like 10,000 square feet or something like that. You know, our Trailblazer of the year, our first ever Trailblazer is Rhino Julie. Hey, Rhino, what's happening?
I am going to do the bicep curls with this giant award. It is heavy. I was so excited when the poor mailman had to deliver it and he was bent over, just struggling.
Hey, I did it just so you could invite him to come join your gym.
I love that. They all see the truck and they either run away or they say, hey, can I send my kids there?
Let's talk about who Rhino Julie is. I mean, I know you've been on our shows a couple of times, but you, lady, talk about COVID. You are in an industry that literally took out multi-million-dollar companies. There are gym chains, commercial chains, that are gone off the planet forever right now because of COVID. And you're still here. Can we talk about the Rhino Gems? Can we talk about how you got into fitness? All that good stuff?
Yes, let's do it. I'm excited.
So, how did you get into fitness and health and wellness in the first place?
Oh man. Well, I had a little print advertising business that I'd had for 4 years, and I had gained a lot of weight, and I was pretty miserable in every aspect of my life. And I wanted to go join the military so that I could come back skinny from boot camp, because I had friends that had done it. And I was like, yes, because if I have a drill instructor telling me what to do, then I'll actually do it. And that's a terrible reason to join the military. Thank you for your service, for everybody who joined it for the right reasons. And instead, I looked for a fat camp. And I said, there's got to be something that I can go to that has other people in it. And we're working out hard, and there's camaraderie, just like I had when I was on my track team in high school. I wanted that camaraderie, right? And I couldn't find anything. And within 5 days, I had started the first boot camp for civilians. And it was here in Las Vegas. And maybe there were other ones in simultaneous universes at the time, but I couldn't find them. And that's why I started it. And so I had a need, and I filled that need. And now it's 17 years ago.
But you're only 24.
Yeah. Now 38. Whoop, whoop.
I still got socks older than you. We're not even going there. Okay, so let's talk about this, because you and I met through an organization, ClickFunnels. I'm just going to put it out there. We met through an organization last year trying to find a way to grow, expand our business during this thing called COVID. And when I heard you own gyms, I thought, I hope she has another career, because who knows if people will ever go back to a gym again. And you said, oh no, we're going to make this happen. We're going to make it work. You created virtual events. You created outside events. I mean, you've really shifted. What made you just stick to it and not just wave the white flag?
Because I need it. I need the sanctuary. I've spent 17 years building it, and it's really not a pride thing. It's a family thing. The Rhinos are my family. There's hundreds of them in the locations. And I love going into the gym and seeing all their little faces and working out with them. And I need it, and I want it. And I told my team, I told them all, I said, as long as people need us and we solve their problems, we will always be here. So it might look different, like how we're solving those problems might look a little bit different. But if we're getting them results, we'll always be here. And now, after the mask mandate was lifted, we have all our little rhinos just running back with their little rhino. They don't really have horns, but we call them rhinos. And it has been just, it's been so beautiful and so amazing. And just knowing that I did the right thing. Like, anybody looking at our financials during COVID would have just said, shut that down, because you're talking $30,000 a month in rent. You're talking, like upwards of $40,000 in payroll. These are per month numbers. And then you have all the other expenses, and any business person would have just said, shut it down. Like, especially since we were shut down for so long. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to. And I knew that it was going to be okay, because something that COVID did, it made us all go online, but it also took away a lot of our communities. And being able to go back into the gym after having it taken away, a lot of the Rhinos have said the same thing. A lot of them have been coming for over 10 years, and we all said the same thing. Like, I didn't know how much I would miss it when I didn't have the option of going. And I felt the exact same way. So, and my team is amazing. They all stayed. Like, none of them left. I think that's one of the hard things about business right now. Restaurants are going through it. That the teams don't, but my team's been with me a long time, and they're still there, and I love all their little faces so much.
Yeah, almost. I mean, you and I both are here in Las Vegas, and we got hit really, really hard, because basically we're adult Disneyland, and things shut down, shows shut down. There's still major stages shut down. This is an example of why we're doing this virtually. We couldn't get it on the stage right now because of COVID, but you sat and really calculated how to connect with people. I looked online, and I'm seeing somebody rolling a tire. I'm seeing somebody pulling things through, we're in the desert, through the desert. You guys are going on crazy hikes. What made you say, I'm going to sit down and figure out, or have you always done this? Have you always figured out really kooky ways to really get your fitness in?
Always, since day one. So day one, I went to Home Depot and I got buckets, filled them with water for us to do relays with, and bought like the telephone poles at home, actually like fence posts at Home Depot for us to like carry around to pretend like we're Navy SEALs, and then give me a set of cones, and you have never seen all the different ways that a set of cones can be used in a workout. Like I would lie awake at night thinking of new things to do. And the reason is that I get bored easy and I don't want to do the same workouts. We always have a different workout every day because I get bored. And also, if you don't know what's coming, you can't dread it.
True. But hold on. You, no matter what, and we've had conversations, where I've been super down. You've had a couple of conversations with me where you were having some issues, but no one would ever, you are the definition of never let them see you sweat, because no one would ever think that Rhino Julie ever has a bad day, ever has a negative moment. She's always got that smile on her face. You even came up with a way, because people, especially in Las Vegas, we had a high layoff rate here. Almost every casino's got a hiring sign because they lost their team. And for you to hold your team together through all this, you need, my new toy just for that, just for that. I gotta tell you, as a trailblazer, quote unquote, what would you say to someone who maybe didn't make it through, maybe is struggling, lost their business, and they're trying to find their new way, and just kind of see the light?
Well, first of all, choosing is not quitting. That is a really important saying to me, is that making a choice to give up something that is causing us pain, emotionally, pain financially, it's causing us relationship pain. That is never quitting. That is choosing a better life and choosing to say there is something that is going to serve me better, and there's going to be a way that I can serve the world better. And so I admire people who change their businesses over and over and over and try new ones until something fits. And even though I've had the same business for 17 years, it has looked very, very different. Every year it's looked different than the year before. We moved all the obstacles next door and started a Rhino Ninja Gym for kids, and we have a few adults as well. And they travel around doing competitions, and that's brand new as of this year. So it's always looking different. It's because I have the same desire to say, hey, how can I make this better for the people who are involved? How can I serve the world better? And how can I make it so I can sleep a little better at night? Because there have been a lot of, well, actually I sleep pretty good, but there have been a lot of stressful moments. But all the stress I bring on myself, all the stress I've ever had, it was because I chose to put on a 100 obstacle course, obstacle course in the middle of the desert. And I asked my cousin Jathan, who was a contractor, if he could build it in 5 days. And he thinks like I do, like we think we can do anything. And he said yes. And then my poor brothers had to pull it off with him and a bunch of rhinos, and we did it. But that was super duper stressful. And regarding the sweating, there have been some like this pandemic, there have been a lot of down times because there was so much outside of our control. So usually my mantra is, okay, Julie, what's inside your control? What do you have control over? Let's zero in on that. Let's go for it. Let's do it. And so my down moments don't last that long because I know that I can always focus on what I have control over. During the pandemic, there was very little that we had control over. And even with my team, I was like, man, if I turn them all into online coaches, we're going to have to keep that going and the gyms going when we return. And so there was also that. So, and most of them, they like to be in person. And so I went online and started my little online programs, and I'm doing these 5-day challenges that are free now. And I'm having a blast because I get to connect with people all over the world. But I love my gyms. I did a networking out event for local business owners, and it was so fun. And before I didn't do things like that. I did extreme crazy challenge events, but I hadn't done things like that. And so COVID it opened up the possibilities, or the possibilities, as I like to say.
The possibilities. All right, hold on. Let's back up a second. Hold on. Because you mentioned ninja. You kind of went, we have a ninja gym for kids and a couple of adults. And you're talking ninja gym. You know, you're talking American Ninja Warrior type, leaping from, you know, defying gravity. Can you just go into that a little bit? Because I have a feeling people don't even know we have a gym like that in Las Vegas.
Yeah. So 17 years ago, I was obsessed with the military boot camps because I thought obstacle courses looked fun. And then I saw the Japan Ninja Warrior, and it was in Japan, and they had these crazy obstacles that these people would go on. And I was like, I've got to go to Japan and do that. And of course I wasn't going to Japan. So I had my first obstacle course built to take out to the parks, and putting up obstacle courses in the parks, getting the permits, it's so hard, and things have to be set up literally within 24 hours. You have to have security, and then the wind will come and just knock over all the obstacles on the event day. And we're like, there has to be a better way. So my cousin and I, we were like, we're going to have the ultimate training facility. It's going to have Ninja Warrior. It's going to have obstacles. It's going to be amazing. And within 2 weeks, we had the keys to a facility we couldn't afford. And I was like, we're going to be open 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. And we're just going to fill this place with obstacles. And we had Evan Dollard. He won American Gladiator. He's a well-known ninja. He came in and did a little shot, and we're like, yeah, this is going to be great. And then we had the Spartan race come through town. And so we had people, and we were actually turning a profit even though we were working day and night. Then once the Spartan race was over, nobody came. And then we had to add other things because the obstacles, we weren't doing it for kids. We were doing it for adults. There's not very many adults who want to go beyond obstacles. I thought everybody would because it seemed so fun to me. But yeah, market research is not a strong suit of Rhino Julie. I'm just like, what do I want to do? I'm going to do it. There has to be more Rhino Julies. And so fast forward to today. So that was the first facility of its kind with obstacles in it, like membership basis. And then we added the Rhino Fit and the boot camps indoors. And fast forward to today, we have a dedicated Rhino Ninja Gym, and the kids compete every month. And what I love about Ninja Warrior is the little girls and the little boys, like they want to be these Ninja Warriors, and they have these icons they can look up to, and they can actually do it. They see it on TV and they can do it, and they learn like just little by little, step by step, and they get more and more confidence, and every single one of them is empowered. And the little girls, they're not forced to like, you know, wear these little outfits and be told that they have to stay skinny in order for it to be their sport. No, they can be whoever they want. Like I love how amazing it is for their mental health as well. Like just so fun, such a fun little gym. And the guys that run it are the best.
You know, I would be probably in a lot of hot water if I don't mention this. Everybody's talking about their COVID-10, their COVID-20, their COVID 1,853 pounds like me, that, you know, we've all kind of, you know, gotten because we've been stuck at home. I've learned how to cook Chinese food, you know, and I'm not talking about frozen. I'm talking, walk and all, you know. It's like, what do you want to say to people that maybe are not in Las Vegas and they can't just run over to the Rhino gyms that can get them moving now that things are starting to open? What do you want to say to them that want to get this, you know, Rhino 58 pounds off?
So my dad finally joined the Rhino gyms, and he's doing nutrition only. And anybody can do nutrition with us or with somebody else anywhere they are in the world. He said, if I would have known that it was going to be this easy and this much fun, I would have done it a long time ago. And he said it was the best money he ever spent. And that just recently happened. We're going to get him off his diabetes medication, off of his high blood pressure medication. I could cry about how important this is, like, to me right now. And so everybody out there, the problem is not you. The problem is that we're sold by supplement companies. We're sold by the next, you know, easy fit, this, that, or the other. And I get excited about every new business thing. And in the past, I used to buy all of the fitness magazines, all the toys, thinking that that was going to help me lose weight. So I get it. I understand it. But really, it's about simplicity. It's about what is the one thing that you can do, the one thing that you can stick to, and then sticking to it until it becomes a habit. And I know this sounds boring, and I know you've heard it before, but it's the truth. And this is coming from someone that has no supplements to sell you. I have nothing but information and knowledge to sell you. And we've had thousands of rhinos come through our program, and we've had thousands of rhinos lose weight and keep it off forever. And I'm one of them. Yes. Well, I mean, I would gain it back, over and over again. And the reason was that back in the day, I would restrict myself until I was skinny. And then I would have a food party with myself because I had finally made it and I finally lost the weight. And I wasn't sticking to any of the habits because they were too strict. They were too hard. And I thought that for me to lose weight, I had to be strict. I had to be, just be miserable and suffering in order to lose weight. And it's not true. And the best thing you could do really is get a one-on-one coach, because they're like, okay, what do you like to eat? Right? But if you're not getting a one-on-one coach, next best thing is to join my free 5-day challenge, rhinojulie.com. And I will walk you through in 5 days your beautiful, most perfect week that you could have. And I'm looking forward to the first one. I can't wait. But that's my new thing for anybody to join. I have one for entrepreneurs so that they can network with each other and get a 2-for-1 special. And then I have one for everybody to join.
Okay, I know you had a problem with a little concern, a little, what, me? When I said Trailblazer, you kind of went, huh? Trailblazer. And to me, a trailblazer is not just a leader because you're an amazing leader, not just a motivator because you do that too. But you think like not outside the box, there isn't a box. You just find a rope and a truck. Go look it up, y'all. I'm not making this up, okay? You find a rope in a truck, can't find weights in your house or something, go pull a truck. She literally got her rhinos to do this, okay? To me, that's a trailblazer. It's also meaning that you don't leave anybody behind. Whether you're, an Olympic athlete ready for your next major challenge, or someone like myself, a little fluffy, artificial knees, needs a little help, you will take the time and listen, because usually when you go to a fitness health expert, they look at you, they put you in a box and they say, go do this, go do that, come back when you lost 50 pounds so I can take all the credit for it, but you go, no, let's really understand who you are as a person. And then you make everything else kind of fit within that realm and then get us to reach out. So that's what a trailblazer is to me. The other side of that is when everybody was laid off, when things were shut down, when we had no idea when things were going to open. Not only did you save your gym, not only did you keep your entire team together, but you created like a Rhino scholarship. Can you tell me just a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we did it during the last recession, like 2009. And I brought it back because we had rhinos quitting their memberships because they had lost their jobs. They didn't mind like the mask. They didn't mind things like that. But their jobs like weren't there, and they were worried that financially they would run out of money, right? And so we brought back the good old fallen camper fund, the Rhino Scholarship. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do these fundraisers every 2 weeks, and everybody's invited, and it's going to be a workout fundraiser, and we're going to collect money and cover these memberships. So we have about 25, and it's short term, it's until they get their jobs back or things are set again. But I'm not going to let a rhino come to my facility for years and years and years and then not be able to go because of a pandemic. Oh no, that is not, except for when we were shut down and everyone was shut down. But as long as we're open, we're not going to let that happen. And these are good people. These are people that bad things just happen to them, and not on my watch. And then the other rhinos, this is the amazing thing. I just got a message from some of our rhinos, and they said, hey, so-and-so can't come anymore. We're going to pool our money together and cover their membership. And that, we're a family, man. We're a community. Like, I could cry, but that's what we do for each other, is the Rhino family. You're part of that, Tigo.
Yes, I am. I got a travel tour. Yes, I am. We are definitely a family. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you for agreeing to be our first Now Honors Trailblazer. I couldn't think of a better person. I posted on Facebook, I think yesterday, that, not only are you blazing the trails, but you actually bring the shovel, dig the path, start blazing the trails, bring the community with you, and then let the trail on fire. You are absolutely amazing. I applaud you myself. I won't even use my little applaud toy right now. I thank you so much, Rhino Julie. You are fantastic. You are awesome. And you are the perfect person to be our first ever trailblazer. You are awesome. Thank you for hanging out with me.
Oh, are you kidding me? Thank you so much for this opportunity. And thank you when you first told me, I'm like, what? I haven't done anything. Like, I don't know. What have I done? And then you looked up our past YouTube channels, like, and you're like, you've done this. I'm like, oh, thank you, Tigo. I appreciate that. I really do. I really do.
So you're going to come back in a few minutes, like I think it's like 20 some minutes, right? And help me with this new idea that I'm thinking about talking about, and maybe a little, little information here or there. Going to play a little bit with me?
I'm in because, as we heard earlier, Tigo's the real trailblazer. Where she wouldn't let me award her at her own now honors. She wouldn't let me give her an award. So we're just going to say it.
I appreciate you, my friend. Come back. I can't wait. It's about 20 minutes out. You are the best. You rock. Woohoo! All right. We're going to go to the next award. This one, I got to do a little, I got to admit something, okay? We were originally supposed to have this awards event the day after Mother's Day. That was the original plan. I mentioned it earlier today that I had a family emergency. We ended up in the hospital, not me, but family member ended up in the hospital, and it threw our schedules off a little bit. And we thought, we would push the Now Honors maybe into the fall or something like that. But we wanted to be in Mother's Day month. That's really, really important. We wanted it to be in Mother's Day month. Well, our next honoree is our Shero. Dr. Sonja Stribling. And her schedule, this woman, when you hear her story, her schedule just would not allow her to be here today. Unfortunately, she did send in the video, but I wanted to be able to at least let you guys meet her, quote unquote. So I went and found the interview that I did with her a few months ago, just to give you a little taste of who Dr. Stribling is. I mean, here's a woman that served in the Army as an officer for 21 years. She went through a divorce after 18 years of marriage. She has 3 grown children. She got her PhD after the military. And now she's teaching women how to be CEOs at their own kitchen table. Yeah, she's a Shero to me. I don't know about you, but she's the perfect person to be the first Shero in the Now Honors. So can we take a little look at an interview we did with her just a couple of months ago so you guys can get an idea of what I see as our Shero, and then we'll show you the video after of her accepting her award. So take a look at this video and I'll be right back, okay?
Wow. So where do I start? Let's just start with, first, I'm a U.S. Army retired major, combat veteran. I served my country for 21 years, and I've been Iraq was one of those foreign lands that I spent about 15 months there. I'm the mother of 3 kids. I have 3 grown children, 21, 26, and 34. I had my first child when I was 15 years old. Wow. And so I stand before you as a statistic, as they say. So don't always let those stats fool you, because you can still become someone and really pave the way for others. To go back, I would say probably 5 years ago, if I may, Teresa, just to kind of paint a picture of TG.
Yes, please.
Paint a picture of 5 years ago, I found myself in a place after retiring from the military, because no one really had that conversation of what do you do when you grow up? Mm-hmm. Like when you retire from the military, you've been leading men and women into battle, and just as far as being in the military. And I found myself in a very depressed place. And when I say depressed, where I was really in a place where I wanted to take my own life, because I was dealing with coming back from Iraq a couple of years prior and going through a horrendous divorce after being married 18 years. So it was a bit much to try to handle. But I am a woman of faith. So I did make it through, and I just decided I was going to help other women. Reflecting on having a child at 15, being raped and left for dead at 17, joining the military, going playing college ball, just one thing after another. So my world was spiraling, out of control. I can't even talk now, but it's just really getting to a place where I just wanted more. And what I would say to that person that is watching me right now that thinks that there's no doors, there's nothing you can do, you got laid off, COVID did this, COVID did that. But I want to share with you that although, and I hear it all the time, but Dr. Sonja, you have a PhD. That PhD didn't help me get here. And it was more of, I thought it was going to help me make millions. I really did. If I go to school, get another degree, I'll be able to do this after going through all of that. And I quickly realized that that wasn't it, that I had something, and all of us have something. So I'm saying to that person that is listening, there's something on the inside of you that you've overlooked that you can use. And that's exactly what I did. I just start using the things, or start sharing my life experience and my knowledge, Teresa, with other people, and showing them how they get through. At the beginning, it was helping women get through the process of divorce. I made my first million in the area of relationships in a year. And so the person that is listening now, I want to talk to you about something I would say COVID proof. Can I use that word?
Yes. People want to hear it. It made me sit up straight. Go ahead.
COVID proof is just like what you're doing now. There's probably somebody watching you like, how can I do what Teresa? She's amazing. How can I do what she does? And so Teresa would just sit and it's like, hey, this is what I had to go through. And you would help someone else go skip through the red tape and, oh, don't step there. Don't step there, Karen. Don't step there, Michael. You would tell them how to go through the process because you yourself went through it. That's the only thing that I started doing. And so one day, some woman, Teresa said, I was at a speaking event and I was talking about my book, The Divorce That Saved My Life. I'm traveling the world speaking about relationships. And a smart woman one day tapped me on my shoulder. She said, my marriage is great. I want you to show me to do what you do. I'm like, what am I doing? She said, I want you to show me how do you build your coaching business. And so I spent the last 4 or 5 years doing something that I was just doing to help others. Didn't even think that this was a multi-million-dollar business. And I know sometimes people get bothered when I say that, but there's something in your hands that you can do that you know more about, that you brush it off like, oh, it's no big deal. But people ask you questions all the time. And so the biggest thing I would tell someone that is listening, don't overlook the things that you know. This is not about going to get another degree. This is not about the lack of a degree that you have. This is about the life experience and the knowledge that you have to be able to do what you need to do to change a legacy and to help others get to their next level. In order for you to do this, and I'll be very transparent myself because I share a lot of my life journey with people. And I too started that same way. I don't want people to know they're going to judge me. What if they do this? What about my ex? What about my family? And I would say to you right now, it is really time for you to be your true authentic self. And what does that look like? It looks like you. What is your truth? There's so many people that are out there, I would say, perpetrating a fraud, trying to be someone that they're not. How about you be different from them? How about you share your truth? And the clients that I even work with right now, Teresa, they're like, but Dr. Sonja, same question. I don't want to share everything. Well, don't. Do the high level. How did I just share with you the high level? I hit 4 points of the things that happened to me. Oh, trust me, there's more. I wasn't graphic. I didn't hurt anyone. That was just my truth. And so what I would share with them is honestly start thinking about what is it that you need to release that is going to help you be a better person. And honestly, the journey is about who do you become along the way. And I truly believe that that journey begins when you start getting to a place where you can share who you are at a high level, not high level, but not all the details. It starts there.
Do you still have fears, and how do you address those fears?
Absolutely. I'm still human. Absolutely, I have fears. But what I've learned how to do over the years is turn the fear, not what most people, I would say 90%, 98% of the population use their fears when they come, they're stagnant. They stop. They don't move. It's just like a brick wall. But the other 2%, and I just wanted to be like the top 2% because the air is thin. And you know that for sure, Teresa. The air is thin where you are. Because there's not a lot of people that are going to make those sacrifices that you made to get here. If we pull back the layer and found out what you had to do to get to where you are, you had all these fears, but you still made it. Like, what? We still have those fears, but it's all about, do I use those fears to catapult me to the next level, or do I stop? I would say, let it take you to the next level. That's what I do. I have them every single day, but I don't let it stop me. I let it push me to the next level. Yes.
Are you living your passion every day?
Every day. When I tell you that I can remember one day speaking and I said, I will be on television. Now, did I believe it in my heart of hearts? I did. but I went straight to the mothership. I went straight to Bravo Television. I was on social media. I did it there. And someone called one day. It's like, hey, would you like to have your own show on Bravo? Was I nervous about that? Yes. So my passions are truly, it's all about manifesting what you are. I'm no different than anybody else out there. No different. I am actually you. I'm just maybe you a couple of years, a couple of steps ahead. And I decided not to stop. I decided, just let's do this. Divorce, all these things people say, you still have haters, but you just get to a place where you're like, if I want this, go get it. It's out there. It is not holding, and it's not about race. It's not about gender. It's not about all of those things. It is simply, if you want it, go get it. And don't let anything or anybody stop you from really getting to that place. So yes, the passion, watching things manifest before I almost, every time I think about that, Teresa, I want to cry, because I remember being broke, busted, and disgusted. I remember saying I didn't want to be another broke Christian. That was just my thought. And this is not against anybody. I didn't want to do that because I watched things happen. I was like, okay, I want to be different. How can I be different? Well, not knowing, be careful what you ask for. Okay?
Yeah, definitely.
And things began to happen. And I was like, okay, I want this, I want that. And I truly believe whatever I say, I shall have, because of who I belong to and who I am and what I've been called to do.
That's Dr. Sonja Stribling. We interviewed her a couple of months ago. And like I said, we had to change the calendar date for the Now Awards, the Now Honors, and she was unable to make it today, but she did send in a video with her award, and I think she's really happy to have it. So let's take a look at the video she sent over to us.
I want to thank you so much for this award that you've presented me with. I'm truly honored to receive the 2021 Shero Award. Teresa, this is amazing. I thank you for thinking of me, but I really want to thank the women that have trusted or entrusted me, not just with, seems like their life, but with their business and the visions that they have for themselves, and even more so, the legacies that are standing before them. I thank you for this award. It's heavy. And these are big shoes to fill, but I am truly honored that I was selected for the Shero Award. Thank you so much. This is Dr. Sonja Stribling, and I'll see many of you at the very top.
I got to play with this thing and give her the applause. We love Dr. Stribling. Hopefully she'll be able to come back on the show soon. She is most definitely my Shero. And I hope after you saw that little clip that you can see why she's the first ever Now Honors Shero for us. And she's out there doing it, man. I did her 3-day challenge or 5-day challenge the other day, like a month or so ago. And she's teaching women not only how to be independent as entrepreneurs, but she's teaching them how to make 6 and 7 figures as CEOs from their kitchen table. Yeah, Dr. Sonja Stribling is the real deal. Right now, I'm going to try to get through this, but I brought Kleenex just in case, because we're going into the next award honor. And this one is really, really super close to my heart. If you've been here since we first got started at 9 o'clock this morning, thank you for hanging out with us, for being here. I kind of shared a little bit about our legend. Our legend is Lillian McMorris. Yep, that's her. Lillian McMorris is basically the local Oprah here in Las Vegas. Here's a lady that was on television before I even met her for over 10 years on Fox 5. Community should be her middle name. Lillian Community McMorris should be her middle name. She's always been there. She comes a running. And 10 years ago, well, no, it's been longer than that. Almost 20 years ago, I saw her announce that she was retiring from Fox 5. Now, mind you, I had not, other than going on vacation and turning on a camera, I had never thought I'd be in production like this. And I saw her say that, and I said, I need to work with her. I need to work with her. Not knowing why. I'm sure if Cindy was here, she'd tell me why. But I didn't know why at the time. And I called Fox 5. And I thought I would get a voicemail. I'd get her assistant. I'd get, I don't know, somebody walking by as they're, going to pick up the mail. But what I got was this woman answered the phone. She said, "This is Lillian McMorris. How can I help you?" And as you guys can see, I have no problem talking. My mother says I came here selling. But when she said that, I was a little kid in the back of the room and I couldn't even say my name. I was on the phone going at that. And she said, how can I help? What can I do? I managed to tell her that I wanted to start a new business, but I didn't know what it was. And that I knew she was really important for that business. But again, I don't know what it is. Now, anybody else, including me, might have said, yeah, you're crazy, hung up the phone and went away. But Lillian said, I get a good feeling from you and I want to help you. So let me take you to lunch. She took me to lunch the next day and it changed my life. I sat in front of her at this lunch that was very expensive, by the way, with her fans walking by going, you're Lillian McMorris. Can I have your autograph? You help my son. You help my mom. I'm a part of your organization over here and there. And I sat there with a fork like this pen with my mouth open for about 45 minutes, just watching her do what she did. Never, ever, ever thinking I'd be sitting in this seat. As a matter of fact, the first interview I ever did was radio, and it was with Lillian. She said, come and be on my show. I said, okay. I came to be on her show, sitting in the hallway, and the on-air light came on, and she said, you're up. And I sat there shaking my head, and they had to drag me out the hallway. I didn't get out of the chair. Luckily, the chair had wheels. Drug me into the studio, put me in front of the mic, and Lillian started asking me questions, and I did this. Mind you, it was radio. Lillian leaned over, covered the mic, and said, honey, it's radio. They can't see you. You're going to have to talk. I spent the next hour going, yes, no, and maybe. To this day, she swears she's going to drop that tape. Yes, it was tape. It was almost 20 years ago. That tape to show how far I've come. Lillian is our legend. Why the Kleenex? She has changed my life forever. But I am one of thousands of people that Lillian has touched. And about 5 years ago, Lillian had a stroke and it stopped her time on the mic. She's still my biggest critic. She's also probably my biggest fan. And she taught me everything I know about sitting on this side of the camera. So I went back and I found a biography interview that I did with Lillian a few years ago. Well, it's probably been 10, 15 years ago, where she shared a little bit about her family and herself. Lillian is not only, a legend here in the Valley, but so is her family. I'm going to play that video right now. And then her and her daughter Rose actually did a video for me to accept the Legends Award. So watch this video with me, would you? This is Lillian McMorris.
I was adopted because my maternal grandmother did not want me. So I was given, back in the day, given to a family who wanted a little girl. That was one of the first blessings of my life. What would I tell that little girl? If I could talk to her now, the person that I am, I would definitely warn her of life's challenges and getting over the humps and bumps in life. And some things, perhaps if we listen to other people, you don't have to experience. My love for community comes from my parents. Robert and Josie Russell. They came to Las Vegas in the 1940s. Lived in the West Las Vegas area, which at that time was just muddy, dirt, cardboard boxes, sawdust on the ground. Worked very hard. My father worked very hard to make sure that his family was taken care of. And they loved me. They had a ranch on Valley View in Cyrus, and their door was always open. My mother was very, 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 very religious. She was a mother of the church, missionary, Bible-toting, as one would say. My father, yes, he was in the church, but he had his little side things, but he was such a wonderful, loving, caring man. And they loved and cared for me. It's indescribable. And their door was always open to anybody who came by. If they needed water, if they needed food, if they needed anything, Mother would always find a way to help them, friend or foe. And our family, or I should say extended family, was humongous. And being an only child, I never was lonely because there was always people around. And when people would come and they needed food, Mother would go, if something wasn't prepared, which she always had a pot on the stove, and they could eat. If they needed clothing, she always had something to give. You know, we're talking about where everything came from with me and how giving and caring and loving my parents were. And because they were so giving and very involved, you know, we would call it politics now, but back then, politics wasn't one of those buzzwords. It was just being involved in change in your community. And there were so many, many people who came to Southern Nevada to work, to take care of their families, whether it's with Hoover Dam, the titanium plant, getting jobs on the Strip, which was very small at that time, but still a good job at a hotel was good. And my father, Robert Russell, was very ingrained with, you know, Judge Foley and all of those people that made the laws back then. And there was a little road out near what is now McCarran Airport. And a lot of people traveled it on their way back and forth to Henderson to go to work. And they didn't have a name for it. And from what I understand, that some of the older people have told me, and UNR, University of Nevada, Reno, actually did some historical research, and it's in there. Russell Road was named after our family. That was indeed a blessing, getting in front of the camera. As a single parent, I worked many jobs. Some, at one time, I remember working 3 jobs at the same time. Giving good customer service. That's always been my thing, is good customer service. Your tone of voice is so important. And I tell my girls now, put a mirror on your desk. So when you answer that phone, people can tell when you have a smile on your face. I was the first African-American floor manager at Sassy Sally's. I was manager, actually, at Sassy Sally's and Coin Castle. And then I went to dealer school, and I became a dealer. And then I ended up at the Hacienda Hotel. Not as a dealer, though. Again, I have people still come to me, and they go, we remember you from, weren't you at the Hacienda? Again, African-American woman floor manager at the Hacienda. So firsts are a lot. It's amazing when you look back on your life and you realize the way that you have paved. And being so community involved, and my girls were in pageants, and they did community service at various things, and they were on a show on Fox 5 just showing what I was doing in the community and how I had these young girls out here doing stuff and giving back to the community. And a very, very good friend now, Miss Deborah Campbell, was the host of the show, AM Southern Nevada. And I remember one time going on there and just saying that this would be so much fun, you know. That's all I left it. Next time I went for something I was doing in the community, probably with the Cancer Society more likely, I had won round trip tickets to Paris from one of the huge benefits they had at the Cancer Society. So as the winner, I got to go. And she told me, she said, I'm putting in my notice. I got a great job offer at United Way. She said, I think you should put in your application. And I said, no way. So I went home. And of course, you tell your kids, and you never know that your kids are actually listening to you. And my baby girl, Rose, regurgitated everything that I had ever told her about, don't worry about being different. You can always be the best that you can be. You never know unless you try. Don't give up. She told me all of this. So, of course, I went back to Fox 5 and just dropped an application, not really concentrating or thinking, because I knew I had no, and everybody said people that were already in the media were trying to get their own talk show. So they called me back, and they called me back, and they called me back. Like, I had like 5 interviews, and they called me back and made me an offer, and that was the blessing, and that's where it all began. You say on OJT, they used to have on-job training. I had it. That was such a blessing to get hired at Fox 5, and I can thank Rusty Durant for believing in me, believing in our community, because his thing is Fox 5 is a community station. He was born and raised here. He started, sweeping the floors. By the time I get there, he'd been there 34 years. And he trained me. He had people train me and mold me. And he was so interested in what I was doing in the community. I had complete 1,000% leeway to continue or to grow or to make Fox 5 at that time the community station. So AM Southern Nevada with Lillian McMorris was born, and that was a wonderful 10-year stretch. And anyone who asked me at any time, I have never then nor now had a boss as great as Rusty Durante. And being able to allow me to grow my dream in our community and get so involved in, it's like I said, it started with the American Cancer Society, but get ingrained in so many nonprofit organizations, whether they came on my show, whether I produced a public service announcement, or at that time, like as I do now, go out and host an event or moderate a panel, educating the community. So that's kind of my journey through the work, and I retired after that 10-year stretch. Why did I retire? I don't know. I think I'm working harder now than I did then. But I'm still doing the same thing because I love my community and I love our nonprofit organizations and their goals and what they give, the programs that they have that they give to our community and helping people. That's the bottom line with me, being able to help people. We are in our community for our community. I'm Lillian McMorris, and we'll talk to you next time.
So now you guys know where I stole that tagline from, because that's the way I close my show. That is my way to tell Lillian I'm okay. For years, she said, you need to sit in front of the camera. Ann said it, she said it, Melissa said it, everybody said it but me. I said, no, I'm going to sit behind the camera. I'm a producer, I'm a director, I don't host. And for years, she told me to do that. So when I finally decided to launch Expert Talk, I told her, I said, I'm stealing your tagline. So that's why I close the show the way I do. It's my way to pay respect. Yeah, Lillian McMorris is our legend. And her and Rosemary, did a short little video for us as Lillian accepted the Legends Award.
I don't speak very well since my stroke, so my daughter will talk for me.
So Mommy is saying thank you. She appreciates being recognized for this honor and that she only tried to do what she thought was right during her career. So thank you, Teresa.
Yeah, Lillian was a rising star in Las Vegas. She's definitely a legend in Las Vegas and lots of other parts of the world. She has been Woman of the Year more times than we can count. She's blazed all kinds of trails because I'm one of them. And from this day forward, because we plan on doing this event either virtually if COVID wants to hold us down, or on a main stage somewhere in Las Vegas or around the world. From this day forward, in the Now Honors, the Legends Award will be the Lillian McMorris Legend Award. I got to play with my toy. And I got to say thank you. You know, we all call Lillian Mommy. You know, she's more like a sister to me, but her nickname is Mommy because she's always looking out for us. She's always watching her backs. And I know she's probably watching it right now going, fix your collar, pull your shirt down, and stop crying. So I'm going to do that. And right now, Rhino Julie is sitting back there. She said she'd come back. Uh-oh, she's got it too. I should have warned you. I should have warned you.
I just know how much Lillian means to you because I've heard as much about Lillian as I've heard about your business. And you know we love talking business. So
yeah, definitely. You know, I couldn't do this stuff without Lily. You know, literally. I mean, I talked about it earlier. I'd have kooky ideas. Anne's been putting up with it for almost, 22 years. Lillian's been putting up with it for almost 20 years. But my kooky ideas when it came to production, I didn't go to film school. I didn't go to production school. I went to the Lillian McMorris School of Production. I come up with an idea and there were no fancy webcams and all this stuff that we're doing right now, StreamYard and Zoom and all that. It was thousands and thousands of dollars to create a production for a single day. And I'd call her up and say, I've got an idea for a show. I've got an idea for a service that I want to do. I've got an idea for video production. And she'd say, what color do you want me to wear? Which crown should I put on? See, she wore a crown pin almost every day. If you look at the video again, you'll see she's wearing a crown pin in almost every clip we picked. And she'd show up. And one time I said, I want to shoot a show all by myself. And she went, what? And I said, all by myself. I don't want to have a crew. I want to see if I can do it. And she said, okay. And a local star here, her name is Sky. She's an amazing singer. We called Sky and we said, come on over. We're going to shoot a new show. And she came over and they sat down and had a great interview. It was awesome. Only problem is I kind of forgot to hit the record button. So it didn't happen. And Lillian said, no problem. We'll just do it again. And we set it up again the next week. We brought Sky back. And I have to admit, you know, that interview is still out there too. I have to admit, Sky and Lillian did spend most of the interview just talking about me and kept asking, you know, is the record button pushed? Did you hit record? Is it okay? Yeah, Lillian, I'm so happy. That award is going to be called the Lillian McMorris Legend Award from now on. She will forever be a part of everything that I do. Okay, so let's recap so far because we've got one more amazing honor coming up after this. Jennifer Hammond is already sitting in the back. She's going to share. She's our next guest speaker, but she's also the presenter for the last award of the day. But before we get there, I was listening to Cinnamon talking about getting unstuck. And then I'm watching my friends who I invited to the stage to be a part of this. You, Julie, as the Trailblazer. Emily Baker and the Law Nerds, influencer. You know, Cindy, rising star. In the middle of all this, Cinnamon comes in and just flat lays out some knowledge and a challenge. And I thought, maybe I should get unstuck. What do you think? Maybe I should get unstuck?
Yes. Yes. Are you going to go through her questions?
I'm going to go through her questions. I already have started. Notebook. You didn't think I was just sitting here, did you? But I'm also going to, you know, we had said we were going to create, like I said earlier, leave it to me. I do the honors first and then create the organization after. We were going to launch the Now Network of Outstanding Women a little bit later. But thanks to you guys, we're going to launch this on June 1st. Right now, my business partners are going, what? Huh? Who? Does she know what date it is? Is she crazy? We're going to launch this on June 1st. And we're going to launch it with a 5-day challenge. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we're going to do a now challenge. And I wrote some notes as I was sitting here. You know, this challenge is going to be about how you can now break out of your comfort zone, how you can now take action, how you can now answer the questions of what's stopping you. I'm thinking that this is what's needed right now. We're not going to wait till the fall. We're going to wait till later in the summer. We're going to do this on June 1st. We're going to do a 5-day challenge. I'm going to try to talk my wonderful honorees to come in and step in at least one of those days. It won't be all day. I don't know what time of day yet because I got to clear it with the business partners that are right now probably sending me what? We're doing what text message. But I'm thinking maybe an hour and a half a day for 5 days. And I'm going to get some other speakers and some other like amazing entrepreneurs. Maybe we can get Sean Malone to drop by. You know,
Yeah.
We can get some really amazing entrepreneurs and business owners to come in. Maybe Miss Peggy, maybe Jennifer Hammond can come by and we can share our journeys and other people can connect with us. Because if I had the connections that I have now 20 years ago, just imagine. Cinnamon's out there. She's saying, bring it. She's saying, woohoo. I think I can count her in. You know, we got people saying, fantastic idea. I love it. Let's go. Yeah, we're going to do this. As soon as my business partners don't run me over with Rhino Julie's truck, we're going to do this. It's going to be a free challenge. It's going to be 5 days. This is how we're going to launch now. Network of Outstanding Women, now for life. I want you guys to come and hang out with us. I want you to get past your fears. I want you to ask the questions to me, to Rhino Julie, to Cinnamon, to hopefully Sean Malone. Maybe we can get Ron Cool and Corey to come by. You know, let's have some fun. Maybe Michelle and Evans will come in. You know, we got so many good friends out there that know exactly how for you guys to build and publish with a purpose, for you guys to get out there and figure out what your dot is and how you can hit that market and generate profit, you know, a purpose-driven payday. Those were always good, right, Rhino Julie?
Oh, yes.
What do you think? Should we do this?
Oh, we're doing it. It's already in the books. I mean, we're just figuring out like what time during the day starting June 1st and then it's going.
It's going. I think June 1st is a Tuesday because Monday's a holiday, I believe. So I can't think of a better way to kick off June. I can't think of a better way to kick off the middle of 2021 after being in COVID for dang near a year and a half. Can you?
No, and I had no idea this was coming, just for everybody out there. Absolutely zero idea. And I think Tigo had no idea this was coming. You know, there you go. It's already mapped out. Beautiful. Beautiful.
These are notes from today. See, now you guys can see what everybody, all my inner circle friends and my family, I'm sure my family is watching. My kids are probably watching going, wait a minute, what? You know, I'm sure my business partners are watching going, huh? We're doing what? This is what happens when you let Tigo go live and think at the same time.
Well, mentioning Dr. Sonja, you know, when you talked about you being in hers, every 5-day challenge I've been a part of has been amazing. And we get this chance to meet people that we would never get to meet. And so I love it. And you bringing in all your friends and people that are just geniuses in their space to help you. Of course, I'm saying yes for Sean Malone.
Yeah, we'll just toss him out there. He'll be like, we're doing what? I think he'll jump in. You guys are going to love Sean. He definitely turns the word sale into a word of love and not a word of fear. He's an amazing, amazing, amazing guy. You know, yes, it's Network of Outstanding Women, but we're going to bring a few guys along. We already have our honorary guy with my business partner, Alan. He's been running the show back there all day. So before I let you get out of here, Rhino Julie, what did you think so far about the Now Honors?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. And, when you said that you hadn't gotten sleep, that I was like, oh, Tigo, I need you to sleep. But then you don't seem like you haven't gotten sleep. You're coming up with new business ideas and implementing them right in the middle of the Now Honors. But every woman that we heard speak, every single one was different. And you could see what they had built. And it was absolutely beautiful. And watching Dr. Sonja, I'd seen that interview before, and then watching her again, I was like, whoa. And then getting to meet Lillian and that video that you put together. Thank you so much for putting that together, because I needed to meet her, and then I have no idea what a 9 is, but we'll figure that out. And then the law nerds, the purple law nerds, I was like, wow, how brilliant. And then of course we have Cinnamon, and we're writing down, I'm like, oh man, this is great. This applies to everybody and everything that they're going through. And we have one more speaker too.
Yeah. We got one more speaker coming up. Not just a speaker. I'm going to introduce her in just a second. Not just a speaker. She is literally, she's like a sister, man. She's going to be at the dining room table for Thanksgiving. She's a part of the family, but she has been moving and shaking. People, when they see her come up, yeah, you're going to know this voice, because she's been on Sirius FM for 12 years, something like that. Yeah, we got somebody amazing. We had to get somebody amazing, because our final honor of the day is Woman of the Year. And I wouldn't even know this woman if it wasn't for the speaker that's coming up. And the Woman of the Year, wait till you see her story. I can't say I saved the best for last, because all of you are the best, but I can say you don't want to go nowhere, because this is about to get interesting and hot up in here. Thank you, Rhino Julie, for hanging out with me. Thank you again for being the Trailblazer of 2021, the first Trailblazer of the Now Honors. You are awesome. I got it on tape that she's going to be in our challenge. She's going to be there for the launch of Now for Life on June 1st. So you heard it here first. But now we got to get back to the show, because one thing's for sure, the woman who's the Woman of the Year didn't make Woman of the Year by people being tardy. So we got to get back on schedule and get things moving. Coming up next is my good friend. There she is, Jennifer Hammond. Now, you may know her face, but I know you know her voice. Jennifer Hammond was on Sirius FM for, I think, 12 years. She has been teaching and sharing and connecting amazing people for her, I want to say her entire life. Hey, Jennifer, you out there?
Yay! I'm so happy. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here. You and I, we have only known each other, I think, since the beginning of the year. It hasn't been that long, but it feels like, you've been a part of my family my whole life. You're like my little sister.
I feel the same way. I feel like we have known each other forever. And I mean, we can laugh and talk. I mean, I know that sometimes we have a hard time staying on track, because we can get into story, those little side trails. I say squirrel, and we're all off in a distraction. And I just adore you, and I admire you. You are one of the women. I am so excited, because you got out from behind the camera and you walked in your own light, and you inspire all of us women to continue on our path and to be brave, even when we're feeling a little bit scared.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of what's going on right now wouldn't happen if it wasn't for you, my little sister. You literally, I mean, what Dr. Sonja Stribling talks about is helping people navigate through the red tape. That should be your middle name, red tape, because you look at people and say, oh, I know the right person. Let me introduce you to so-and-so. Oh, I know a perfect person for your show. Let me introduce you to so-and-so. If you hadn't done that, Pod Nation, which we haven't even really mentioned today, you're on Pod Nation. If you guys want to check out our new network, podnation.tv. That's not what today is all about, but definitely go check out podnation.tv, because Pod Nation is a sponsor of the Now Honors. But then on top of that, our Woman of the Year, I had seen her name. I had heard about her a little bit. I never thought I would ever even meet her, let alone be able to call her friend, let alone be able to say she's our first woman of the year. And all that happened because of you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much.
It is my honor, my pleasure. It makes me so happy to connect people in men and women, but especially women, because so often we forget. I think there was such a mindset of being competitive for many, many years, and women were to be seen and not heard. And so we're breaking through that mold. And so now connecting people who are going to uplift you, your message, and help you become better and stronger is just something I'm so passionate about. So thank you for letting me help you. Yay!
You are the best. Okay, I'm going to get out of the way because you are our next guest speaker. You agreed to come in and share a little bit of that yay knowledge. Everybody I know that knows Jennifer, all of a sudden, if you're feeling like doing this out there, if all of a sudden you feel like going yay, don't worry. We all do it. We all get the yay-itis. We have to do the yays. It's okay. So I'm going to let you share a little bit of your yay knowledge, and I'm going to step out of the way. Take it away, my friend.
Yay! So today I'm so excited. I'm going to share 333, and that one because that's my brother's favorite number, 333, but also because it seemed like just a super easy way to help you remember these things. So number one, 3 stories, then we're going to do 3 secrets, and then 3 simple action steps. So first of all, I wanted to start with a story. When I was a child, I was a very young child, I woke up and I realized that the sounds I was hearing were my parents fighting, and they were having a terrible fight. Unfortunately, sometimes those fights became violent. And I realized, oh no, something is very, very wrong. And like many of us, one of the first things I did as a child, you react, and I took the covers and I put them over my head, and I thought, I just don't want to know. I don't want to know what's going on. I just want it all to pass by. I don't want to have to confront this. I don't even want to find out why they're angry this time, because they had fought so many times. Well, it wasn't until the morning. I did successfully hide until the morning. But when I did wake up, I found out that my dad and my mom had not made very good financial decisions, and we were losing our house. And there's something really tough when you're a kid and you lose your house. And so one of the things I realized is at that time I made a decision. Number one, the first thing I decided was I will never be in fear of losing my house. I will always make sure I have a house that I feel safe in and a house that is mine, that I feel like I'm not going to have that danger, so to speak, like I had with my parents at that point. But also, I made a decision that I would help others, also have a home. So as you just heard Teresa, she was introducing me. So 24 years now, I have actually been licensed as a real estate agent in Washington, D.C., Virginia, Maryland. And I also love teaching real estate investing. And the reason that is because it gives me so much joy to help people realize, whether it's just the first time home buyer or first time as real estate investor, I want you to be successful. And that comes from a place of my childhood. So there's my first story. Now I want to start talking about 3 secrets. And these are also, as you also heard, the 3 secrets to creating in every day. And one of the things that I realized about that is that we have to decide that we're going to focus on the positives. So the 3 secrets, number 1 is helping others. Just like I was talking about with getting my license as a real estate agent, and also making the decision to be an educator, to do 3-day seminars, to do online courses, whatever I could. I just wanted to make sure I would help get that information out there. And then as a woman, when I first got to Washington, D.C., one of the things that I realized very quickly was that women were not always accepted into the real estate investing circles. And I realized that I was going to have to find creative ways to get doors opened that were not opened at that time. So, and those are stories I'll share later. However, the secret to actually getting the doors open was helping others. I learned that as first-time home buyers, I realized you could teach how they could get their first home, and it could be less expensive even than renting, and they could build equity that would help them build wealth. So here's my second story I wanted to share. And this is a story about one of my very first-time home buyers. And she had traveled the world. She had been in the Peace Corps, and she had gone on missions with her church. And then when she came to Washington, D.C., she actually did not feel comfortable ever even looking at possibly becoming a homeowner, because she just didn't see that she would ever have a job that would help her pay for the very expensive real estate that is in Washington, D.C. And of course, this is 20 plus years ago, and it's much more expensive now is what I mean by that. But she came to me and we talked, and I helped her understand how she could get a grant for her down payment. Back then there was a program for $5,000 that they would give you as well, just for buying a home as a first-time home buyer if you fit into the specific program, getting your closing costs paid for, and then making all of it become less than rent. And I remember when I handed her the keys, that look in her eye is when she welled up with tears, and she said, "This is a dream I never thought would be a reality in my lifetime." And then if you fast forward a few years, I ran into her at a social gathering, and she said that home actually helped her pay for her wedding, for travels all over the United States, and also helped her start her first nonprofit. It was so beautiful. And I had tears in my eyes, because I realized I had achieved something that was so dear to my heart. And that is not only to help people get into houses and to be a real estate investor, and that kind of dream of helping others have the knowledge they need to make good decisions in real estate. That was yay. And one of my secrets in there is learning is number 2 in the 3 secrets. Number 1 is helping others. Number 2 is learning the basics and practicing those basics over and over and over again. And I'll give you some examples of someone you may have seen. Like, you may have seen in the last year, 2 years, about an Olympic gymnast, Simone Biles. Do you remember her? Wow, there's somebody who has seriously practiced the basics over and over and over again. And one of the stumbling blocks that we come across, and even for myself, I have come across over and over, is that we have to practice those basics over and over again. And we sometimes get that idea, well, I already know that. I don't have to do that. And you think about my brother's a musician, and I know that he also knows you have to go back to the basics of music and play the basics. It might be the chords over and over again. You go back to the basics. So think about Serena Williams and so many other athletes that we've seen. They really practice the basics. So don't ever skip on the basics. Practice, 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 and don't allow that mindset to somehow prevent you because you think, oh, I already know the basics. So it's so important. I know, and some of you might know from 1973, another woman who was a trailblazer, and talk about an incredible woman, Billie Jean King. She changed tennis. If you don't know who she is, go look her up, because I don't have enough time to tell her whole story. But when we go back to the 3 secrets to the yay in every day, number 1, helping others. Number 2, learning the basics and practicing the basics over and over and over. And number 3, which you probably might be able to guess, the spirit of play. Yay! We all need play. We all need to create yays in every day. And so recently I was just thinking about, oh my gosh, it is so, so important to make sure that we are finding our yay in every day. And that is creating our spirit of play with whatever we're doing. And I was thinking about my childhood and one of my favorite movies, which you might remember, Mary Poppins. And if you look at the lyrics of the song, Spoonful of Sugar, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. And snap, the job's a game. And then, of course, on and on and on. I think that is true of everything we do. It's finding that spirit of fun, that spirit of play in every day that makes the day become a yay day. We have to do that. So as I promised, 333, my brother's favorite number, 3 stories, 3 secrets, and 3 simple action steps. So the 3 secrets to yay is 1, helping others, 2, learning the basics, practice, 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 and the spirit of play, number 3. And then the 3 simple action steps that you can do to create your yay every day. First, and I call this your SOS. And when I first created this, it was actually before the pandemic. But now with the pandemic, I feel like it's even more important. So SOS, you might think of Save Our Souls from the old sailing term when there was a mayday, mayday, mayday. Something was wrong and somebody was really calling out for help. And one of the things that I realized as women, so often we need to have SOS. So my acronym for SOS is number 1, the S is shift your focus. The O is for oxygen, more on that in a minute. And then the last S is schedule your success. So the first S, shift your focus. This is, you think about the pandemic and all the craziness that goes on, and every single day, in every way, we can have challenges to our positive attitude, to our yay, or to, you start to go from yay to yuck, 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 yay. So come back to your yay. First of all, you have to shift your focus to the positives. And there's so many different ways that you can do that. And sometimes I do that with little sticky notes all around my house. And I put little things on there. You could do it with music, or perhaps it's that you love to dance, or whatever art that you love. Whatever that is, make sure you're shifting your focus. And then the next one, the O for oxygen. This one, when I came up with this, I was thinking about when you get on a plane and the flight attendant puts the oxygen mask on you and says, put your oxygen mask on first and then help your other people. And it's funny, I thought about that so often as women, and they will say, you're wearing the hat as a mom, or maybe you're wearing your hat as a sister or a family member, or then, what was it? You're the CEO. You know, whatever hat you're deciding to wear, so often we end up trying to help someone else, and we're not putting on our own oxygen mask on first. So whatever that is for you, I suggest that you find your oxygen and make sure you put your oxygen mask on first. And it's that important. That was one of the reasons that I made it oxygen. You can't breathe. You can't go on. You can't find your yay if you don't have oxygen. So find out what that is that you put absolute first in your life that takes care of you. And then the last S, schedule your success. Oh my goodness. You know, how many times have you heard someone say, oh, I always wanted to write that book, and then they never got around to it? All sorts of things like that. It's so important that you schedule it. So what if it's that you want, your goal is to be like one of the rhinos and you want to get into fitness? Whatever it is, you need to schedule it. It's so important that we put it on the schedule and that we make time for it, because so often we forget. We get busy with this or that. And, you know, as I was just saying earlier, like that old animated movie Up, it's not that old, but a little old, Up, where he goes, squirrel, squirrel, and he keeps looking off to the side. He's distracted. We live in a world of all these distractions. So make sure you schedule your success. And then, as I promised, 3 stories, 3 secrets, and 3 simple action steps. The third story that I wanted to close with today, and that I thought was one of those moments where I realized it's so important for no matter where you start. Like with my parents, they were unhappy. They divorced early, and it was tough in a lot of ways. And my mother, unfortunately, she was a tortured soul. That's the way I like to refer to her. She was a tortured soul. She was an alcoholic, but she was mentally and physically very abusive to all 3 of us children. And by the time I hit high school, my sister had been put in a foster home and my brother was gone, and he and my dad both were gone. So I didn't have either of them. And my mother was the only one left, and she was very angry. She was very bitter at all the things that she hadn't had a chance to experience in life. And with her being so bitter, she passed on that bitterness, unfortunately, to me. And she would say over and over again these words that were so just horrifying. She used to say, I wish you were never born. Oh my gosh, those words, they really were painful for so long. And I remember just thinking, well, why was I born? What is my purpose here? And it was my senior year of high school. I was living with another family because I had obviously finally gotten out of my mother's house. And I didn't really think I would graduate from high school, but sure enough, it was funny because at that time I'd finally found my father and he was living in Las Vegas. And so I was like, I'm moving to Las Vegas. But I had been growing up on this little island, Key West, Florida. And I was thinking about just getting on a Greyhound bus and going out to Las Vegas because I wanted to go find my dad. And I found out my counselor in high school sat me down and said, he used to call me Green Eyes Hammond. Green Eyes Hammond, you need to sit down now. I have something I have to share with you. And I thought, oh dear, what does this mean? And he slowly shut the door. And he said, I know I could get in trouble for shutting that door. Now, I had some horrible things happen, from being molested to being raped. I was not at all happy about this counselor closing the door. I thought, oh dear, what's going to happen here? And then he said, you remember the principal of our high school, his name was Tommy Roberts. He died in my senior year. And he said, there's a committee that's gotten together and they really want to give you this scholarship. But the problem is, you don't fit into any boxes. You're just kind of average. He said your average SAT score, you have average, I was a solid B student, all Bs. Not really, I don't think I had any A's and I didn't really might have had one C. So I was just a solid B student. He said, you're just average. And he said, we don't know what to do. But he said there's a whole committee, and on that committee is Tommy Roberts' wife, and they would like to give you a scholarship based on your potential. And I remember thinking, what? What? But it also made me think, who would believe in me? Because remember, my mom said, I wish you were never born. And that's when I realized somebody believes in me. And they decided to give the scholarship. So I was the first ever recipient of the Tommy Roberts Memorial Scholarship based on my potential. And I've got to say that to me changed my life. And that's when I think I first started saying kind of inside. I didn't really say it outside because I was so shy, but I started saying, yay, kind of softly. And then slowly it started to, I became brighter and brighter and brighter as I just realized that I'm going to have challenges and my mother's going to continue to tell me I was stupid. I was never going to graduate from college. So I went ahead and finished an AA degree and then a bachelor's degree and then a master's degree. And then, I was on Sirius XM for over 12 years. And I have such a pleasure of being able to help people understand real estate all over the world. But even with Clubhouse, one of the things that I'm known for on Sirius XM as well is by saying, yay. And I never meant to. It was just that I was so excited every single time when people would call into the radio show, when we would talk, and I wanted to celebrate. You have to understand that is a big deal, even though it's something small. And then with Clubhouse, I heard someone say, it's like Jennifer has a wolf call kind of ear. She hears this secret call of somebody saying, yay! And she comes showing up in your Clubhouse room. And I thought, oh my gosh, I think that's a good thing. And then I realized, yes, because anytime people are celebrating, I want to be there. And I'm so incredibly grateful. Teresa, what an amazing woman you are. Thank you for putting this together. And thank you for including me. Yay! And this is my challenge as you come on off your mute, is for everyone, no matter where you are, lift your voice and say yay with me. Yay!
Yay! I find myself saying yay all the time. We gotta try this out again. Woo-hoo! I gotta get a yay button. Will you do a yay button for my new toy?
Awesome. Different tones too, so you got it all over.
Awesome. We're going to have yay buttons. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. You are amazing. Thank you for sharing that story. I've heard bits and pieces, and yes, we do. When we get together, we are kind of like those squirrels in the tree. And goodness forbid that one of us mentions puppies and then it's over. It's absolutely over. But I know that, you know, we've got our woman of the year sitting in the virtual green room back there. So I'm going to just stick around for a second. I'm going to step back right now so you can introduce her, and then I'll come back and say hi, and then I'm going to get out of the way.
Okay. Well, I'm so excited and just thrilled and honored to introduce Peggy McCall to you. If you don't know Peggy, oh my gosh, I want to say she needs no introduction at all, but I'm still going to tell you some of her highlights because she is amazing for so many reasons. Number one, she is a New York Times bestselling author. She is also an incredible coach. Oh my gosh. I have had the privilege of being in her classes as well. And she is somebody who gives, and talk about uplifting others and really, but also challenging them. She can be a tough coach. She's not just the easygoing, you know, oh, everything's fine. She's going to challenge you, which is what you really need. She is also a manifestation expert. Oh my gosh, we're gonna dig into this in a minute. But she also, I would say, one of her most proud, I want to say, titles or roles in life, or even you could say the hat she wears, is being a grandma. And so we'll have her talk about that some more. But her latest book, Savvy Wisdom, is about to be made into a major motion picture. And right now, and we can help manifest, she will be winning an Oscar for this amazing, incredible story that is based on her life. So Miss Peggy McCall, you are an amazing person, and I'm so happy that you are Woman of the Year with Now.
Oh, thank you so much, Jennifer. What a pleasure to be here with you. Yay! Oh my goodness.
Fun. So I have the privilege of kind of walking you through some questions because I want the audience to, I know some people probably have never met you, which is, it's hard for me to believe, but I realize that, you know, there are a couple billion people. So first of all, let's share a little bit about, you started with your childhood. This new book, I learned so much about you because you started, Savvy Wisdom. There it is. It's so beautiful. Purple's my favorite color too.
My
Oscar. There you go. And there's the Oscar. Yay! So, you know, I'm going to start backwards. Let's start in reverse. Let's start with Savvy Wisdom because it's the thing that you just did, and you have 19 books. However, these are all books that are very much nonfiction. And then all of a sudden, Savvy Wisdom, you decided to write this book, and it's loosely based on your life. So will you tell us a little bit about this?
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate that. You know, I love that you shared your story too. And you know, many authors, when they think about writing a book, they're concerned. And the concerns are, would anyone want to read it? And, oh, you know, why would anyone care about my story? It's like you're sharing your story earlier. I actually had goosebumps so many times when you were speaking, Jennifer, because I relate. I remember hiding in the closet when I was a little girl, listening to my parents fighting. And so, you know, I'd released 18 books, and then this idea popped in my consciousness to write another book, but not any book, a fiction book, a parable. And I love parables. They're my favorite read. I just absolutely love reading parables. So when the idea came into my consciousness, I immediately dismissed it because I thought, I don't consider myself a great writer. You know, who am I to write that kind of book? And I've worked with many fiction writers and nonfiction writers. And many of my authors have also had their books go on to be movies or, you know, exciting things, trilogies and things like that occur. And so I just said to myself, well, Peggy, what if you believe that you could write a great book, and not just any book, but a book that would just take off like a rocket and have a positive impact on the lives of millions? And so I decided that I was not only going to write it, but I would write a great book. I would have a great time doing it, and that I would just be in the spirit of the outcome throughout the entire process. So I made a decision. I set a date for the deadline. I adjusted my attitude to be perfectly right for this kind of project, and I got on with the work, and it literally unfolded. It was such a bizarre experience because I never, as I said, written a parable before, or a fiction book. And what's wonderful about writing fiction is it can go anywhere you want. And Jennifer, you had said that it's loosely based on my life. There's a lot in here that is my life. Some of them has been modified slightly. There's some stories in there that happened, but they didn't happen the way they happened. But the majority of it is true. A large majority of the book is true and based on my life. And it starts with this young girl who wanted to end her life. And that was me. And that wasn't a one-time occurrence. I'd been thinking about ending my life for a long time. So it starts, in a very dark, painful event that occurred in my life, and how things evolved out of that place, out of the place of darkness into the light.
And into the light and into your yay. Let's start there, because I think that right now, as we celebrate women, there are, I know, families who are listening, and there are teenage girls who are just like you were as a teenage girl and thinking about ending their life. And I know it's I'm so proud of you for going there, because so often, people just want to avoid the really tough subjects. And I think that's how it becomes a bigger problem, is when we don't talk about it. So what would you say to a teenage girl who's watching us right now and thinking about life doesn't seem very yay, it doesn't seem very happy? What could you say?
Yeah, that's so true. And, in our country alone, the suicide rate is four times what it was before. And the story in here goes that there's actually 3 different individuals that were suicidal in this book. One of them was my mom. And she did try and kill herself at one point. I was 14 years at the time. And I won't give away the whole thing. But what I would say is there's always something to be grateful for, always. And you just have to find it, even if it's just a place that just causes you to feel a little bit better. A little bit better is something that's worthwhile. Also, Jennifer, when you're talking about what your mom had said to you, like about you being born, and I really believe that parents don't understand the impact of those comments on their children. And they're only saying it because they're in pain. And the truth is that hurt people hurt people. And so your mom was in pain, and she was trying to escape from that pain. And so for whatever reason that you're consumed in pain, whether you were hurt like Jennifer was, or hurt the way I was, I had a very similar experience to you, Jennifer. Just understand, hurt people. They were hurt too. And the ones that really need love the most probably deserve it the least, right?
It's true.
Everyone needs love. Everyone needs love. And even as a child, as a teenager, as an adult, we can be the source of that for other people. This is the reason why I got to do the work that I'm doing today, is because I was in so much emotional pain that I didn't want to live. And it's not a wonderful place to be. And when I got myself out of that pain into a happy place, I made a decision. I'm going to help other people too. And I know I'm not the only one on the planet, but I've been studying this for so long that I've completely transformed my own life, that now it's just a part of my DNA. It's a part of who I am. I'm absolutely committed to help anyone and everyone that I possibly can on this earth. And what a blessing that we're connected here via the internet, because there are over 4 billion people online. There's almost 8 billion in the planet, but over 4 billion people online. So it gives us all an opportunity to connect. And I would also say, connect with someone, talk to somebody about it. Just have a conversation about it. There's so much support that's available for anyone that's in that struggle position, unlike the way it was, many, many years ago. I mean, I was 17 a long time ago. So, but nowadays there's so much support, so much available. Reach out for help, and just within your own consciousness, go to that place of, what am I grateful for in my life, and find something.
And one thing also about your book, if you would tell a little bit about the 2 characters, because one of them, of course, is based on you, and then the other one is based on Bob Proctor, which I'm sure a lot of people know about Bob. But talk about that relationship you had and how it changed your life, as well as it's, again, we only get little highlights in the book, because the book is so beautiful, and so well written, but so fast. It goes away so fast. You're like, wait a minute, I wanted more.
Oh, there'll be more. There definitely will be more savvy wisdom. Savvy is a character, S-A-V-Y. It's not the word savvy. It's a name, which actually stands for initials. If you have to read the book, you'll find out in the end what S-A-V-Y stands for. But savvy is this gentleman, this wise elderly gentleman that Sophie, that's the main character that's based on my life. And so Sophie is in the park one day and she's crying, she's distraught, she's going to end her life. And she went there early morning because she really didn't want to see anybody. And she doesn't notice that there's somebody sitting at the end of the bench. And she's bent over and she's crying hysterically. And all of a sudden, at the corner of her eye comes this embroidered handkerchief. And so she grabs the handkerchief, to blow her nose and wipe her face because she didn't have anything at the time. And then happens to notice it's embroidered. And it says, if you want your life to change, you must change. And think about that. If you want your life to change, you must change. And this is what Bob Proctor said to me the very first time I met him. I met him when I was a young lady. And fortunately, I was mandated, you must go to this session. I was working for a company in Toronto at the time, and they had hired Bob as the keynote speaker. Now, interestingly enough, Bob had quit the business. He had decided no more. He wasn't going to do it anymore. I don't know what happened for him, but he just said, I'm not in the business anymore. And he was down in Atlanta. And the director of the company I was working for managed to find him and called him and said, Bob, you got to come up here. We want you to run some seminars for our company. He's like, no, I'm not doing that business anymore. And they said, like, no, we really need you. Anyways, he's like, oh, what the heck? So he decided to come up and do the seminar. And I was in the audience. And that's when I met him. And I've developed such a strong relationship with Bob. I consider him a friend, a mentor. We've had a business together for several years. We ran a business together. We're not now, but we were for quite a while. And he has taught me so much about life, the potential, and so much about how we, all of us, can just do more, be more, have more, and experience more in our life. And he's an absolute blessing.
Well, and one of the things that you also teach a lot as well about manifesting what you want in your life. There's two things. Now, one, I'm just going to tease the first one, but I want you to share the story about how you manifested this amazing husband that you have. But that was second. First, one thing you shared recently that I just adored, and you're so great at sharing stories, was you decided you wanted to give a gift to Bob. And, one of the paradigms, which I heard more than once from my parents, was money does not grow on trees. And so many times I was told, money does not grow on trees, and you can't have this, and we can't afford it, all of these things. And you gave Bob a money tree, right?
Yes, that's right. For his 86th birthday, which was his last birthday. And I mean, every time it gets closer, we're coming up to Bob's birthday again. It's July 5th. And we're thinking about, what do you get Bob Proctor? The guy who has everything, right? And I think it's a challenge for those that are close to him. It's definitely a challenge for his family members. And so the idea came into my consciousness, make him a money tree. And I didn't make it personally. I actually have a girlfriend who's extremely talented in crafts. And so I told her what I was looking for. And I went to the bank and I took out $1,000 cash, and I asked for hundreds and 50s and 20s and 5s and 10s, because they're all colorful in Canada, right? We have very colorful money. And she made flowers. Well, they're kind of like leaves on a tree, and put it into this beautiful plant, decorated it up. It was spectacular. And he absolutely loved it. And it's a challenge to get Bob surprised, or have Bob be surprised with a gift. But that's what I gave him for his 86th birthday.
And I think that's a perfect symbol of what he has, he's helped you get rid of the idea that money doesn't grow on trees. Because look, you made a money tree.
That's true. I mean, how many people heard that when they were younger? I certainly did. And so he loved it. I love it too. And it's true. There's an abundance. Now, I didn't have that mentality years ago, but I certainly have it now.
And the other one I wanted you to share, especially because I know we have so many women who are listening who want to manifest that amazing partner that will support them in their dreams and what they want to do. And I know that the thing that I admire is I've heard you tell so many stories about him, as he I don't want to say, he is so supportive of everything you do that it's just like having the best partner. And you guys don't do exactly the same things. You do your thing, he does his thing, and you have this amazing relationship together. And so I would love for you to share, for anyone who's out there who's thinking, I want that perfect marriage, that perfect mate, and maybe perfect isn't the right word, but the right mate, the person who's there with you. So how do you manifest that, Peggy?
Yeah, you could call it perfect for sure. I mean, it's perfect the way you define it, right? So I had gone through a divorce, and I found myself at a point where I had a realization that previously I had a belief that I wasn't worthy of love. So I decided to build that belief system within me. In order to attract love, you must be loved and believe you're worthy of love. So I developed that belief. It took time, but then I got to a point, it's like, okay, I'm ready. I'm really ready for a happy, loving, committed, fun, fully enjoyable, respectful relationship in my life. So I defined what would it be like? What would it feel like? And then in my mind's eye, I saw myself with my significant other. And a couple of my girlfriends would say to me, well, go online, get on those dating sites. And I was like, nah, I just don't feel compelled to go there. Nothing wrong with them. I think they're fabulous. And this is a number of years ago now. Danny and I have been together over 16 years. So they were still new. So it was kind of like fresh idea. Not that I'm not open to fresh ideas, but I wasn't feeling attracted to it. And then another girlfriend would say, well, then let's go to the bars. Let's hit the bars. And it's like, nah, I'm not interested in going to the bars. And they're like, what do you think? He's just going to show up at your door? And I said, listen, how he's going to show up is not my responsibility. My responsibility in order to manifest is to decide what I would love and then to feel as if I have it in my life right now. And however he's going to show up, he's going to show up. So a few days later, I went out walking my dog and just went around the corner in my neighborhood, and there was a little dog tied up on a front lawn because somebody was moving in, and there were boxes, so you could tell what was going on there. And all of a sudden my dog's going to this dog, and this gentleman walks out the front door, and I saw him there, and I thought, ooh, that looks nice. And I appreciate nice looking things. And then he came out and we started chatting, and he told me that he had just moved here. He was with the military. He was in the military, moved to Ottawa. I live in Ottawa now. And he was a pilot, and he was transferred here to fly the Prime Minister. That was his new responsibility. And so we chatted, and then he said, well, let me grab a leash and I'll take my dog for a walk. It wasn't his. He was actually taking care of someone's dog for a few months while they were trying to find another place to live. And so we went for a walk, and he knew where I lived, and we had a lovely chat. And I remember thinking, this is the kind of guy that I would like. I wasn't thinking him specifically, but I liked, what I was hearing. I felt really good energy with him. And then a couple of days later, my doorbell rang, and it was him. And he was standing there, and he said, listen, I just got a call from the squadron. I have to go fly the Prime Minister. It's a day trip. Could you watch the dog? I can't find the dog sitter. And would you watch the dog, and I'll come and get him tonight? I said, sure, bring him in. So the dog came in, and then that night, Danny came back from his trip, and I said, come on in for a coffee, and he did, and the rest is history. So 16 and a half years later, we're still together. And so he showed up at my door, and it was interesting that my friend had said to me, what do you think? He's just going to show up at your door? And I said, I don't know, like maybe, but it's a possibility. And that's the thing. We just got to be open to possibilities when we decide on what we would love.
And that's one of the things that, I just saw in some of the comments, someone just asked about the handkerchief.
Yes.
Did you end up making the handkerchiefs? I don't remember.
Yeah.
You did? Okay, good.
Yeah, I had them made.
Yay! So how can they get that handkerchief? Go to PeggyMcCall.com?
I know. Actually, I don't sell them.
Oh, okay.
But, I did order a few. I found a place on Etsy, and I ordered a bunch because when the book came in, I sent one to Bob, and I sent one to a few other people. And so I have a few here. I'll send you one, Jennifer. Send me your address.
Thank you.
You've been so good to me. You were so kind. I really appreciate you. So I happily send you one if you would like. Oh, and Teresa, of course. Of course.
Look who walked in. I know backwards. I'm in the middle. That is hilarious. So I think Teresa wants one too.
Of course. No. Yeah, of course I want one. Of course I want one. You two are awesome. I mean, I could sit here all day and just listen to the stories and how you make your journey. Miss Peggy, I call you Miss Peggy. And we are probably 6 months apart in age, but it's more of a respect level for what you've done, not as a female entrepreneur, but as an entrepreneur and an author and just a leader. And the one thing I got from the very first minute I got the opportunity to speak to you is it seems like there are no small voices in your world. It doesn't matter whether you're, king of some country or you're just starting out in your journey, if somebody is focused, you're one of those people that I got the impression you'll just stop and give them that minute and listen, because who knows, this could change their life. You're fantastic. And Jennifer is just the glue that keeps us all together. I'm just going to say it. You love this? It's like cross framed. I want to thank you both. And I want to thank you for being our Woman of the Year.
Thank you. Whoa,
we got to get you on full screen. Look at that.
So
yay! As Jennifer was
saying, yay! Thank you so much.
I thank you so much. I thank you both so much for coming and sharing this event with us. I hope when the stage is open and we do this next year, you can actually come live to Las Vegas. I think it would be awesome. It would be fantastic. And I think Miss Peggy, I think you heard me say that in June 1st, we're going to launch the Now for Life community. We're going to do a 5-day challenge on getting out of your own way, taking action right now. And I hope if you have time during those 5 days, we haven't picked the time of day and all that, one of those days, if you could swing by, because I learn something from you every 5 minutes that I talk to you.
You know what? I love the idea, get out of your own way. I could write a book on get out of your own way.
Hey, we can co-author it. I think Jennifer would jump into it.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a bestseller for sure.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Jennifer, for coming and hanging out. Your brother, Gregory, has been here all day. I thank him so much for hanging out. We're going to have to make him an honorary dude of now because he's a part.
Yeah, because he wrote a song for Peggy. So we should play his song next time.
We'll play his song when Miss Peggy comes back for the Now Challenge. We'll play his song if it's okay with Gregory. We'll play his song to introduce her then, because he is definitely one of the nows. We're going to have to come up with like a hyphen, now -G for guy or something. I thank you, ladies. Have a great, great day. You are amazing.
You too, Teresa. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All righty. Okay, here we go. Well, that's it, you guys. I mean, that's our first ever Now Honors, the 2021 Now Honors. And I had a blast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a little bit of, tips here and knowledge there. And, if you're facing some fears, you heard these people, these women, these amazing women, have been facing their own fears as well and getting out of their own way and taking action. I'm going to just borrow the title of Peggy's book and say, yeah, we've all got a little savvy wisdom today from them. It was fantastic. It was awesome. I'm going to scroll back because I saw something go by Lillian's family, and I just want to make sure I acknowledge that. That's from Lillian's family. I couldn't think of a better way to launch the Now Honors. I couldn't think of a better way to launch Now for Life. I hope you enjoyed today. Thank you, Cindy, our rising star. Thank you, Julie, our trailblazer. Thank you, Emily, our influencer, and all of the law nerds. Thank you, Dr. Sonja Stribling, as I like to call her, Dr. Sonja, for being the Shero. And literally, she may be small, but she is powerful, and she takes on the world, and we can follow behind her. Thank you, Julie, trailblazer. Like I said, she don't just blaze a trail. See, for me, I find a nice, even path because I've got artificial knees. And that's how I blaze. But with Julie says, I don't care if there's trees. I don't care if it's the desert. I don't care what's in front of us. This is the direction we need to go in. And she grabs her rhinos, and I'm proud to be a rhino, and she blazes ahead. Thank you so much, Julie. Thank you, Lillian, for making all of this possible. And I'm not tearing up again. You are definitely a legend. You are definitely a hero and a shero to me. Thank you, Lillian. And, last but definitely not least, thank you, Cinnamon, for coming in and speaking today and telling us to get unstuck. Because Cinnamon, if I get in trouble when I go offline with my business partners for launching on June 1st, I'm blaming it all on you. I'm just saying it. I'm going to get unstuck and we're going to launch now for life. Thank you, Jennifer, for coming in for the 3 on 3 and sharing your journey, your story, and yay, because yay is a big, big part of my life. And thank you, Peggy McCall, Woman of the Year, Peggy McCall, for sharing, for caring. And I'm going to close this out the way I usually do, but I want to reiterate something that Cindy said at the top of the show. Own your own weird. It fits with me. It really, really does. It fits with me. Own your own weird. Thank you, Alan, for running everything back there. He's been taking care of everything and making us run smooth. You're a great producer, and I'm so glad you're comfortable because you're going to do all the rest of the shows. Hi. Thank you, Ann Anders, for almost 22 years of, guess what? I got an idea and not running for the door. Ann is like a firefighter. We call her our captain. She runs towards the danger, which is usually me, and keeps us steering straight ahead. Thank you so much. And G couldn't be here, Geraldine. She couldn't be here today because she had to go work. She is a first responder. She's a nurse. And she had to go out there and do what she does best is, well, she's a best mom, best wife, but she's also an awesome nurse and a great business partner. Thank you, Geraldine, for being there and having my back and saying, what? Get back to work. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. We will re-air it. It will definitely be back again. And as always, as I said, I stole this from Lillian McMorris. I will use it forever. It's my Carol Burnett pulling the ear, letting Lillian know I'm okay. I'm Tigo, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.